I'd like to tell everyone that I had fun with David this morning, but he's having computer issues. So, boy, that was an effort last night, Paula. That is a game 7 effort.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Good morning, Miller and Moulton. Welcome. After a very interesting weekend of sports that gave us a game 7 that turned out to be a flop, a game 6 that was a little bit of a flop that gives us a game 7 tonight, and a PGA with a very unlikely winner as the Rays take 2 of 3 from the Marlins. And I guess Ray is where we start with Aaron Ray, who 2 gloves and iron covers. Well, don't tell him those aren't the way to do things, because he got it done yesterday, winning the PGA with a pretty damn good field. And of all the guys you thought were going to win, that probably was not the name on your list. But Ray with a brilliant 5-under round yesterday, including an eagle on 9 and an easy 2-putt birdie on 16, kind of sealed the deal as he wins the PGA. John Rahm and Alex Smalley in second. Justin Thomas with another really nice final round. He was 5-under as well, sat on top of the leaderboard for a while, but a little bit of an unknown when you've got Rahm and Rory and Xander all near the top of the leaderboard, and they don't get it done on Sunday. And the guy with 2 gloves and iron covers wins the PGA. And I happen to the funny thing is, all right, if you are a golfer, the one thing, I haven't seen an iron cover since the 80s. I really haven't. I don't know anybody that uses them. You would get teased with iron covers. And I'm guessing at some point, maybe he did. But the great thing about it is that he grew up without a lot of money. And the story goes that his father used to take, I guess, like baby oil and a safety pin or a pin that you'd have a clothing pin in the house. And every night after practice would clean the grooves in his clubs because he had talent. And his dad spent a lot more money than they had to buy him a very nice set of golf clubs. And he would use the iron covers. And his dad would meticulously clean these clubs for him every day after he practiced. And because of that, the iron covers are a bit of an homage to his father and to his upbringing, to say, this is where I came from. And he did not look like a guy who had not been in this position before. And the 2 gloves come from the fact that he played in a lot of cold days in England growing up, and that was just what he was, and then he became used to it. So here he is, 2 gloves and iron covers, and he's a major champion with a tremendous round of golf yesterday. Nearly flawless. If you look at his card from yesterday, yeah, he had a little back and forth, and he was 1 over going to 9, and he makes birdie to shoot 34 on the front side. And then he was relentless on the backside. 4 birdies, no bogeys, and runs away with the tournament. I always try to plan Sunday dinner at my house around 6:30 in the morning, or 6:30 in the evening, rather. and I have my mother over. Kind of what we do here. So it's me and the three ladies. Didn't have to even have the sound on last night. Nothing dramatic about it. I had to talk to them. Not what I was looking for. No, I'm just kidding. But usually we're watching sports and talking about sports. Well, last night we didn't have to pay as much attention as normal because it was his tournament. And what a performance on Sunday by Aaron Ray, who is now a major champion. I don't think most of us thought, looking at the leaderboard after Saturday, that's how this tournament was going to turn out. But there were a lot of guys on the leaderboard up front early, and even after, Friday and Saturday, that were unlikely names. And you thought, does John Rahm get it going on? Does Scheffler finally start making some more putts? And when Rory was there on Sunday, I think a lot of us thought, well, he's going to take care of this. Becoming the first Englishman in next to forever to win the PGA. So a tremendous win for him and a brilliant back nine on a shorter golf course that gave these guys an incredible test. Now, the pin placements were really difficult yesterday. They were. But, he made 6 birdies and an eagle. So, can't blame the course. Justin Thomas, 64 or 65 yesterday. So, don't want to hear anything about the setup or the course. They all had the same golf course to play. And the golf course, I thought, did an excellent job over the course of 4 days to fend off the best in the world. But a tremendous victory, no doubt. And then for me last night, I jumped into the NBA. I did. Game 7 sucked me in. And it's the team I grew up rooting for. Well, they had nothing for Cleveland. After Cleveland blew Game 6 at home, you thought, well, maybe Detroit is going to figure out a way in back-to-back series in Game 7 to win. But not last night. As well as the rest of their team played in Game 6, none of them were there in Game 7. Cade Cunningham wasn't there, and no one else was there. And the Cleveland Cavaliers were great early and never let up. Not even once. Went to bed before the fourth quarter started, for crying out loud. 31-point victory for the Cavs. And now we get the Cavs and the Knicks. In the West, we've got a really good series. I think it's the final. I think the Spurs and OKC, the winner of that, will win this whole sucker. But we don't know. Not anymore. Seemingly unusual year in hoop with, the Celtics going down early. Now the Pistons are out. So the 1 and 2 seeds are gone. 1 in the first round, 1 in the second round. And maybe these are the 2 best teams. We've talked about it for a while, that these 2 teams have built their team over the last few years, and both the Knicks are more publicized, but both are in a win now type of mode, that they've put everything together to win a championship, or at least at the very least get to a final. I think everybody knows deep down that OKC's the best team out there and that the Spurs are probably the closest contender. But now we get the Knicks and the nauseum that comes with them being in the conference final. And you all know what that means if you watch certain networks, that you'll get a lot of that. But the Cavs were the much better team last night. A tremendous performance. Took Detroit out early and never let their foot off the gas, ever. Unlike Orlando in Game 6 that had the big lead on Detroit and coughed it up and should have won the series, Cleveland never let up. They were relentless. Great rebounding performance by Cleveland. Owned the offensive glass throughout the game. early, and that's what took Detroit out. So a super performance by the Cavs. And oh, yeah, by the way, a little closer to home, the Tampa Bay Rays took 2 of 3 from the Marlins, and their lead is 3 in the AL East. 30-15. Now, the Braves are 32-15. Best start they've had in forever. But the Rays, way over their skis. I mean, no one expected this. And just a quick reminder, as we enter yet another week, and next week's Memorial Day, when we take stock, right now there are 4 teams in the American League with a record over 500. One of them is the Chicago White Sox. Not the Tigers, not the Blue Jays, not the Red Sox, not the Mariners, the White Sox. So the White Sox are a playoff team. The Athletics are a playoff team if the season ended today. Wow. Didn't see that coming. So that's a little bit of what happened over the weekend. Don't know how many of you got into the Preakness. There wasn't a lot of horses there, obviously, without the Derby winner there. Don't know if it has the same pizzazz that it does when a Derby winner is racing in the Preakness. I watched, but I can't say, I put a little money on Talking. I said I was going to, and Talking just did that. It talked. It didn't walk the walk, nor did it run the run. So there's a couple more dollars down the drain. Thank you, Twin Spires. So that's a little bit of what happened over the weekend. Miller and Moulton on a Monday morning. Want to thank a new station for getting on board. We're now carrying the 6 to 8 hour way north. We've extended as far north as we have in a long, long time. I guess ever, for that matter. I know we did a week up in Michigan many years ago, but welcome, Greenwich, Connecticut. WGCH carrying the first 2 hours of the show. Wish I had my co-host with me, but he can't figure out his computer this morning. So I have no idea how we are going to get up with him. At some point, I'm sure that will happen too. Starting 25 minutes away, or at least I hope so, because I have to make sure that, trust me, I didn't prepare for it this morning. So Miller and Moulton on a Monday morning with an unlikely winner at the PGA. Thanks for listening. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they
I wish it were that funny, and that's what I did. But no, it's tough when he just doesn't have a lot of technological savvy when it comes to trying to fix something. We have a company working for us. It's their job, and that's the station they got for 2 hours. So oh, that's what we just did. Yeah, I didn't update anything, Jay Gunn, but then again, for David Paula, I mean, no offense here. Hello? Can't hear a word you're saying.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Pretty solid weekend of sports. Little interleague baseball. Preakness, the Pistons and Cavs, Buffalo with the win up in Montreal. And I think we have David. Apparently they hear you in the Twitch chat room, which is great for them, but your co-host doesn't hear you, which isn't as good for me. So I have no idea exactly what's going on, but neither here nor there. So after Ray wins the PGA yesterday, again, that's probably the biggest story because It was an outstanding back nine. Just unbelievable. And to do that while everybody else is, I don't want to say struggling, because guys had great rounds yesterday, but everybody around him is not able to pull off what he's doing on the backside. I mean, again, 4 birdies. John Rahm on the backside made 1, had the same opportunity. Smalley played a little better at the end when he eagled 16, but he's out of the tournament at that point. Cam Smith made 1 birdie. Guys were there. Oberg. I mean, you're waiting for Oberg to finally have that tournament. He doesn't do it. And Schmid let it go. Oberg with, the bogey on 14 kind of derailed his round. And when David and I made the top 3 of the field, trust me, this isn't who in the field I thought was going to do it. I felt pretty good about Oberg early on Sunday when he got going. But Aaron Ray just was steady. You look at a round like that, and for someone who we weren't expecting it out of, yesterday, driving accuracy, he was nothing special for the week, but none of them were. For as wide as those fairways were supposed to be, guys didn't hit them all day long, but Ray did on Sunday. And then he rolls in the long putt on the par 3. I mean, come on. It's someone's tournament. They're talking about a 3-putt. And on 17, he holds it from wherever after making the easy 2-putt birdie after hitting his approach second shot on 16. That drive on 16 was ridiculous. And it's a great, at the end of the day, it's a great feel-good story. Because the one thing the PGA tries to give it, and I don't want to make this sound sappy, but the PGA, throws out there the teaching of the game and working with your family. Well, that's what he did. His dad wasn't a PGA pro, obviously, but Dad made a lot of sacrifices so that he had opportunities. And he was relentless. A terrific tournament, a terrific Sunday, and Aaron Ray, your PGA champion, and got it done. I think I've got it, David, now. So good morning, David. Welcome.
Good morning, Mark. Apologize to everyone. Obviously, we've joked over the years about how technologically incompetent I am, and so I've got about 2/3 of the battle figured out now, if I can just get the mic to work. But I heard you say you thought Oberg had a good chance. It's funny, I was thinking Rahm was going to win, and then, Rai just kept playing great, and Rahm couldn't make anything. So, remarkable. I mean, 290 to 1 Thursday morning, 290 to 1. I mean, this is Rich Beam territory, isn't it? This is Todd Hamilton in the Open Championship. This is as big as we've seen in 30 years.
And he was, like I said, he was flawless yesterday. I mean, that back nine, that 31 on the back nine, take away the 70-foot putter or whatever he made on 17. The drive on 16, when guys are missing fairways, and we talked about how wide the fairways were, David, guys missed fairways all week. Nerves got to guys on Sunday. There was a lot of wind throughout the week. Yesterday was perfect. And to hit that drive, that was the tournament. That hole was the tournament. There were guys around. Once he made that birdie, that sucker was over.
Mark, he played 10 perfect holes. I mean, he really did not miss a shot from the 9th tee to the tap in on 18. Did not miss a shot. And the fact that he made a few putts, he threw that on top of it, but he did not miss a shot. I mean, Rahm missed like 2 during that phase, but the other thing was 2 par 5s, he plays them 3 under. Then people were lucky to make 4 on 17. He makes 2. I mean, he was the best golfer yesterday. There's no other way to say it. With 30 golfers, 40 golfers within 4 shots of the lead, could one guy break out? He did.
And he obviously, Rory plays the par 5s even for the week.
Right.
The best driver of the golf ball on tour plays the par 5s even. Didn't have to play him much better to hoist the Wanamaker, but he didn't.
Well,
and his driver left him Monday and his driver left him Sunday.
As he pointed out to Amanda Balionis, he doesn't birdie both par 5s. And the 300-yard par 4, he makes bogey instead of birdie. I mean, Rory's saying, if I birdie the 2 par 5s and I make a 3 on a 300-yard hole, which I should be able to do, I'm 8 under. I mean, so, he was right there. There's a lot of guys who were playing the ifs and buts and candy and nuts game, but I mean, he did not miss a shot for 2.5 hours in the most pressurized situation of his career. It was great to see. You and I, what have we said for 20 years? We love greatness. All right. Aaron Rye for 10 holes on Sunday, 6 under par. I mean, for goodness sakes, he was 3 under for the week when he started the stretch.
And of all the players that were at the top of the leaderboard, he was the most unlikely guy to play the best golf.
Absolutely.
I mean, there, we watched Maverick McNeely kind of, and Smalley played well, but you know what I'm saying? The guys that were there, it's like, all right, you weren't even, this tournament's going to end and it's going to be one of those tournaments that the last twosome doesn't matter. Well, it didn't, but we didn't think it was going to be because of Aaron Rye. That wasn't the guy that was going to take this over. And I think, it's funny, David, how at times the networks, and I don't just blame CBS for this, but NBC and CBS, the 2 main networks that cover golf, they do everything they can do to not show live guys. And yesterday they couldn't give us enough of Rahm and Smith because they're desperately wanting a name to win this tournament.
Right. And I mean, you think about even when Rye makes eagle on 9, he's still not in the lead. Okay. And then when he makes his first birdie on the back, he's tied for the lead. And not one nervous shot, Mark. Not one. Very impressive. Very impressive.
Those courses up north where the weather's starting to turn and people are playing golf. Watch all of them in Michigan and Connecticut and everywhere else wearing 2 gloves today, trying to find their inner Aaron Rye. Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for listening. MillerandMoulton.com. The starting 5. That's next.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
David, on the bottom of the Twitch screen or the StreamYard screen, the first thing you see is the microphone. Do you have choices when you click on the up arrow on that?
The mic right here, used by Google Chrome.
I'm sorry, say that again, David.
Microphone in use by Google Chrome. I click on it. There's a bunch of stuff on, bunch of stuff off.
Okay, are you talking about the bottom of the StreamYard page?
Yeah.
Where there's a microphone.
Yeah, where there's microphone in use by Google Chrome. Yes.
Okay, then you should be on. Hang on, let's put this one. I'm going to mute this guy. Talk to me through your headsets, David. I know it's not working. It's not working. No. All right. If you hit the settings button, when you click that up button, David, you should get, like, I get my choices of my microphone and communications, and I know what it's on, and then the settings button. Click the settings button.
I just did.
Oh, hang on. It sounds like you're working. Talk to me again. No.
2 1 3 2 1.
No. It's working through the phone.
3 2 3 2 1 3 2 1.
It's only working through the phone.
Wait, hold on. Microphone test. It was at 0%.
What are your choices when you scroll? Now I think I don't know how this is working. So it's not working. Are you hearing me? And are you hearing yourself through your headsets?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if are you talk now and tell me if you're hearing yourself through your headsets. Okay. Because we're not.
Not hearing me at all.
If I mute this microphone of your phone, I don't hear you at all. Johnny, I got this, okay? I can't have you saying you hear things when you're not really hearing things, okay? Trust me. Thank you, but just trust me here. When you turn the mic, we got a minute. So when you hit the microphone and when you see at the bottom, I've got like when you click that microphone button on the bottom, I've got like 5 different microphone options. What are your microphone options?
Microphone access, let apps access your microphone, camera, co-pilot.
No. On StreamYard, David, at the left, there's a microphone there. There's an up arrow next to the microphone. On the bottom of the StreamYard where all our pictures are.
I know I wasn't on StreamYard. Okay. When I clicked the microphone, I turned it off.
I need you. Okay, you need to click the. We're coming back in 10. So just if you want to use your headsets, that's fine. The microphone, leave your phone on because we need that.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
Hey, nice to be able to answer that for the first time on the show today. Apologize to our new listeners. Whatever's going on is going on my end. So I apologize. I will get it fixed probably during the top of the hour. This time of the show, however, we do the
Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the Starting Five.
not Harry Vardon, not Sir Henry Cotton, not Tony Jacklin, not Sir Nick Faldo, not contemporaries Justin Rose or Matt Fitzpatrick. The only Englishman to win the PGA Championship since the end of World War I in 1919 is Aaron Rye, a 290-1 long shot Thursday morning. He played the last 10 holes 6 under to win by 3 at 9 under par. John Rahm and Alex Smalley were 3 back. Justin Thomas, who posted a 65, and it was at or near the lead for most of the day. He ended up, along with Ludwig Oberg, 4 shots back, tied for 4th. Xander Schauffele and Rory were 5 back, tied for 7th. And Justin Rose and Patrick Reed squeezed in top 10s, 3 under. Scheffler finished 2 under, Cameron Young even, DJ +2, and Brooks Koepka +3. Aaron Rye, your winner of the PGA Championship. By the way, in the LPGA Tour, it was a very good day for English men and women. England's Lottie Wood won in Cincinnati on the LPGA Tour. NBA. Cavs dominate the Pistons in a Game 7 in Detroit. They led by 9 after 1, by 17 at the half, and by 26 after 3. 3 Cavaliers with 20-plus points. Cade Cunningham just 13. Cleveland ends up winning games 5 and 7 in Detroit to win the series in 7. Cavs, quick turnaround. Don't know if that's edge Cleveland or edge Knicks. Tomorrow night, Madison Square Garden, game 1 of the conference finals. New York with home court advantage. Meanwhile, game 1 of the Western Conference finals will have to wait until Wednesday. Spurs in Oklahoma City. Speaking of Oklahoma City, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, wins the MVP for back-to-back seasons. NHL Game 7 tonight because Buffalo went into Montreal Saturday night and blew out the Canadiens. So here we go. Montreal at Buffalo, Mark. Canadians 5-2 at home. Sabres just 2-4 at home. Montreal lost Game 6 at home against Tampa Bay, and we know what they did in Game 7. Same scenario here. Do they pull it off again? Buffalo's goaltending is a major question mark in this series. The winner of Montreal-Buffalo will play Thursday night, Game 1 of the conference finals in Carolina. Wednesday night, the Western Conference Finals get underway. Vegas at Colorado. ESPN will have the West. TNT will have the East. Baseball. The Rays take 2 of 3 from the Marlins. Caminero and Diaz with homers yesterday. Rays double up Miami 6-3. They've won 18 of 22. And they now have a 3-game lead on the Yankees because the Yankees blew a 3-run lead in the ninth against the Mets. Tyrod Taylor with 2 outs tied it with a 3-run homer. Mets win in 10, 7-6. Good week for the Mets. They went 5-1, but a tough loss for the Bronx Bombers. Baltimore avoids the sweep at the hands of the Nats. They won 7-3. Atlanta takes 2 of 3 from Boston, 8-1 the final. How much are the Red Sox struggling? 8 straight games where they've scored 3 runs or less. Unbelievable. Philly sweep the Pirates 6-0. Zach Wheeler outpitches Paul Skeens. Oh, by the way, since the managerial change, the Phillies are, I think, 14-4. They're now a game above 500. 6-0 Phillies. White Sox, they give up a 3-run homer in the ninth to Michael Conforto to tie it. Cubs take the lead in the 10th, only for a 2-run homer by Edgar Cuero. He had a vision in the on-deck circle that he was going to hit a 2-run homer and win the game. He did. White Sox 9-8 over the Cubs in 10. They took 2 out of 3. They're above 500. Royals avoid the sweep, beat the Cardinals 2-0. This is going to be a theme here. Twins avoid the sweep. They beat Milwaukee 5-4. Texas avoids the sweep. They beat the Astros 8-0. Giants took 2 or 3 from the A's, 10-1 the final. A's back to 500, still leading the division, but no longer above 500. Fortunately for them, the White Sox have taken their place. Unbelievable. Dodgers sweep the Angels 10-1. Ohtani with 3 hits. Padres sweep the Mariners 8-3. Corbin Carroll with 2 homers. Arizona 8-6 over Colorado. Toronto got a homer from Vlad Jr. What I'm about to say is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. It was only his 3rd home run of the year. So Vladdy Jr. with 3 and Tatis with none when it comes to home runs. And we're 8 weeks into the season? Unbelievable. Finally, the Guardians hit 6 home runs. Cleveland over Cincinnati, 10-3. Racing news. Mark, pay attention. 2 kinds of racing. Yesterday, Indy 500 qualifying. All day. All 33 cars qualified. When it was done, the defending champ, Alex Palou, on the pole, his 4-lap time over 231 miles an hour. Alexander Rossi and David Malukas make up row 1. Pato Awards on row 2. Scott Dixon, row 4. Meanwhile, NASCAR, it's a race that doesn't count for anything except some cash. Why are they wasting a week running a race that doesn't count? It's the All-Star race. Used to be a thing. Yeah, exhibitions aren't a thing anymore in this country. It was at Dover. Denny Hamlin led over 100 laps and won. Of course, he did. Chase Briscoe, should be able to read my writing. He led over 60 laps and finished 2nd. College softball, Mark, was thinking of your dad yesterday, was all over the TV this weekend. Florida is one of 9 SEC schools to make it to the Super Regionals, 9 of 16. By the way, give it up to UCF. They went to Tallahassee and won Florida State's regional. by beating Florida State in the title game 4-2. Congrats to UCF. WNBA, Caitlin Clark, 21 points, 10 assists. Indiana's 2-2. They beat the Storm of Seattle by 11. And finally, Mark, Aaron Rodgers. At long last, he wants to play football, and he signed with the Steelers for 1 year, nearly double what he made last year, close to $25 million. And at 12 minutes before the hour, that was your starting five. 5 big stories, which ended up more like 8 big stories that you needed to know here on Miller and Moulton.
Well, I will say, I mean, come on, we do all-stars in every other sport. I'll let NASCAR have theirs. I'm guessing, I doubt the ratings differ much from a regular race. So if that's the case and they get big crowds, which they do, whatever. I mean, people like their all-star things, whatever the sport is. Golf's the only one that doesn't have an all-star event. I mean, they have, I guess they have the New Orleans. That's the closest thing with a team event.
Make a dadgum good point. I just wondered, should NASCAR, take Mother's Day off and eliminate the all-star race, and instead of running at Watkins Glen on Mother's Day, maybe run this past weekend at the Glen?
Yeah, I don't understand. They never raced Mother's Day before, so that one kind of freaks me out. But I don't even know where their ratings are anymore.
Well, they're not good, in part because the NASCAR fan doesn't know what network it's on from week to week, never mind what time it's on.
Well,
and this is when we're just racing on Fox. It's either Fox or FS1 right now, and they still don't know which network the race is on. Wait till we go to the 3 other packages that are coming up here real soon.
You know what I saw yesterday? I didn't realize this, because people were complaining last night about the Pistons and Cavs being on Amazon Prime. Okay. I get everybody's complaint that wants to flip. I understand the pain in the arse that it is to flip when you're streaming an event. I stream only, so I got you. Unless I'm on YouTube TV, when I can go back and forth pretty easily, it's difficult to flip. But did you know there are more households with Prime than households that have TNT?
Really?
Yeah. There are more Prime subscribers. Now, does that mean they all watch it on television? Obviously not. But when I saw that, and it was, it was posted and then reposted by someone that I trust, I'd have to double check. I saw that. I went, I'll be damned. I never would have thought that in a million years. But I think Prime's coverage, yes, they had that horrible hiccup in the play-in games when the Miami game went away for a minute and a half late. It was a horrible hiccup. It's, I mean, it's been 50 some years since the Heidi game. It happened on a network when they got started too. We all have our hiccups. And it's embarrassing to have it happen in the postseason. But since that, I think Amazon's coverage is terrific of the NBA. I mean, nothing Shaq and Chuck and Kenny and Ernie. I get it. Their whatever, pregame, halftime, postgame is far and away the next best one.
I agree. Then they hired younger people who not far removed from the game. And it's not like their play-by-play guys are lacking. I mean, you've got the Eagles, father and son. That's their voices, right?
So, yeah, I mean, but I watched the first 3 quarters and into the fourth, and I said, why am I awake? Because, after Detroit came back against Orlando in game 6 with that big lead, we've watched plenty of teams blow plenty of leads in the NBA. So I'm like, I'll give the second half some time and see if Detroit can muster up anything. They didn't. And with like 10:24 left, I went, what am I doing? This sucker's over. This is done. They have no answers. Cleveland is playing a terrific game, but I didn't turn it off because of the broadcast. I didn't turn it off because of the halftime. There was nothing that Prime did that I don't enjoy. I like it far better than their football coverage.
Interesting. Because obviously that's where they get the most viewers. I mean, they were getting around 14 million on a Thursday night, and that's what they were getting on Fox 5 years ago.
Well, I don't dislike it enough to not watch it, but I'm just saying, I think the product, as far the broadcast product, the cameras are good. Their pregame show on I don't love everybody on it. It doesn't do any. I'm not saying it's bad. It does nothing for me. The halftime does nothing for me. I think their NBA crew are good. They're not trying to show up anybody. They're just doing basketball. And they're talking hoop. And I think they do a fine job. I've got to say, last night, though, when 8:00 came around, I checked a bunch of things. I went, where the hell is this? And I went, oh, yeah, it's on Prime.
It's 10 minutes. I went, where is it? I went to everything. I went, Amazon. I don't want to go there.
And I felt like an idiot. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's where these are. They're on Prime. We're Miller and Moulton. We're on twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton, youtube.com/Miller and Moulton. Text the show, Pelican Roofing of Florida text line, 21,000 the number, Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real. The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Interesting, Shimko. I have to say, yesterday, I watched, but I didn't find this is just me. I guess with that leaderboard, I didn't find it as interesting because I'm not a Rahm guy at all. I've never liked John Rahm. It's not that I dislike him. He's just boring. You had a bunch of guys that were, when my wife asked me who I want to win, and I'm like, I guess Rory, because at least he's interesting. And I'm happy for Rye. It's a wonderful story. Oh, trust me, you're going to get a lot of it this week, Michael. I can honestly say I'll be rooting hard for the Cavs.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
I used to have a thing on my homepage of the computer, and it used to be a microphone, and now it like went away.
Okay. I mean, without seeing it, I have no idea. I think that your microphone on that is shot. That's my personal opinion because the camera is part of your computer. I think that box may be gone. That would be my guess, but I don't know.
Oh, God, you gotta be kidding me.
30 seconds.
This is unbelievable.
But it is not picking up your microphone at all.
No, I'm well aware. And I can't even, I've lost the icon for the microphone.
Okay, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Monday. Apologize for the audio difficulties. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. What a busy weekend. And I understand that the golf was probably the biggest thing going on this weekend, but with a leaderboard that was, well, convoluted and at times not very sexy. I could understand if some of you found the PGA Championship, well, a little boring compared to how you usually feel about a big golf tournament and a major championship. You know, like Mark, we were just talking during the break. I like John Rahm. You don't. So when John Rahm is contending and at or tied for the top of the leaderboard, I ain't doing anything for you.
Yeah, literally, my wife, who will watch golf with me, she actually enjoys it. She doesn't play, but she'll watch the tournaments with me. And she looked at me on Sunday, I don't know, 3:30, and she said, "Who are you rooting for?" And I looked at the leaderboard, and I guess Justin Thomas was already done. So I didn't think his 5 under was going to hold.
Right.
And I said, out of that leaderboard, I got to be honest with you, kind of pulling for Rory. At least he's interesting. It was a boring leaderboard. It really was. I mean, at that point, Oberg wasn't even on the leaderboard, and I was really only pulling for him because I picked him on Thursday or on Wednesday, rather. So it's fun to be right. But it's his little. It was a typical PGA. This is the PGA you and I are used to, David. This was the one that the no-name got. This is Jason Duffner. You know, you mentioned it earlier. This has always been the tournament where the guy got their only major championship.
Yep. And it happened. Lately, big boys have been winning this sucker. Okay. Well, not this time. 290 to 1. Damn. This is Todd Hamilton. This is Rich Beam. This is oh man, Ben Crane. I mean, this is right up there with those gentlemen.
So, you know, this tournament, and I will say, I have nothing against the course. You know, I thought, now when I saw I happened to be up early Sunday and saw a post of the pin placements, and I'm like, oh goodness, they've got these suckers 5 paces off the back, 5 paces from the right. I mean, they seem to tuck every pin, and some interesting, to say the least, pin placements. But when the guy who wins makes an eagle on 9 and 4 birdies on the backside, I can't blame the golf course for, I mean, now he drained the long putt on 17. But on the long par 5, he hits a 360-yard drive and has an iron in his hand to get home and hit it to what? 18 feet? I mean, he had a reasonable eagle putt to make there.
Yes, he did.
There were, you know, JT threw a 65 up. There was the ability to shoot a score yesterday. They had a couple of short par 4s or one that was drivable. So there were opportunities there. You had to take advantage of them. And most of us don't like the PGA becoming the U.S. Open. That's probably the biggest golf complaint I've got over the years about this tournament. The PGA has made their mind up that they want to make this as much like the U.S. Open as possible. They don't want to see a 15, 18 under winning it. I understand. Little surprised that no one got to double digits, but the wind helped, and so did the pin placements. So the course held up. Course won, to be brutally honest with you. Except for one guy. Aaron Ray was terrific. The last 10 holes, he was amazing.
Rory said something after his round on Friday, which was a good round. He got back in it. What did he shoot? 67, 66, something like that, to get back in it after his opening 74. And so he was in a good mood. But he was asked about the course. And both he and Scheffler were very critical of the pin placements. They're like, man, they are, you know, they're putting everything on the edges and can't fire at a lot of pins. And you could tell they didn't like it. They were like, hey, everybody's got to play it. You know, you can make some birdies, but you could tell. And Rory went a step further. He didn't say it maliciously, but he just matter-of-factly said, he goes, you know, the great courses, they spread the players out. He goes, we got 40 guys within 4 shots of the lead. He goes, so I would just, you know, come to your conclusions that way. that. So, I mean, Scheffler and Rory were both they were as critical of a course that wasn't the U.S. Open when guys have no trouble coming off the top rope saying, this sucks, the USGA sucks, they did it again, blah, blah, blah.
Rory loves, he was second in driving distance. Not much of a surprise there. He was 75th in driving accuracy. Fairways are important in major championships. And we've gotten to the point where the public has become numb to how far they hit it. And we've basically adapted the grip it and rip it style of golf. That's what that's what they think, and what the PGA Tour and what those players think is what you do to win. Hit more fairways. I'm sorry. Hit more fairways. It rewarded guys who were able to hit the fairway. And what's been the problem with Scotty Scheffler this year? His iron play. He drove the ball fantastically. He missed irons.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been the same problem he's had all year. So they're complaining about, you know what? Hit it to the middle of the green, make some putts. I don't know what to tell you. When the two best players in the world are complaining, I don't know. I just, it falls on deaf ears with me. I like them being honest. I do. I'm not going to fault them for complaining and giving us their honest opinions. But in Rory's case, I'd say hit more fairways, man. You missed fairways all week. You admitted it.
Yep.
So I think a lot of your complaints are driven over the way that you played, not necessarily the golf course. So that's my only thing. I guess I'm sounding a little hypocritical because I'm saying both things here. I want them to be honest, but I guess I can't feel sorry for them because 40 guys were in a tournament. I thought the course held up.
I must admit, for whatever it's worth, I found the course a little boring, though. I can't tell you, and I watched a decent amount. I couldn't tell on the tee what hole was what, if you know what I mean. And a lot of courses, you could just tell from the tee what hole they're on. I had no idea. I mean, except for a par 3. I had no idea. That they all looked the same to me. The course didn't do it for me. And I didn't think guys could hit, considering the clubs that they had in their hand, they were really far away from the hole for birdie, seemingly all week. So, would I, if I were on the PGA board, would I vote to have it here again? I wouldn't, for what that's worth. Okay. But, 9 under, that's a solid winning score. It is. Course played hard, though, obviously. I mean, what? 4 under after the first, 5 under after the first day, 4 under after the second, 6 under after the third. I mean,
No, 25 guys finished in red numbers, David. So, yes, right. The course played hard.
Yeah.
34 guys finished even par or better. It was a difficult golf course.
Yep. And I'll say this, thank goodness in this sense, because I really think without the wind and without a dry weekend, I think even with the pin placements, they might have tore that sucker up if not for the wind.
Yeah, the wind was definitely a factor early in the week, Thursday and Friday especially. But to see a guy shoot 31 on the backside on a Sunday, that's what we're looking for. JT threw a 65 up there. The leaders didn't. So,
except for Rye.
Right. I just don't want. I get your point about maybe a little bit boring because they got rid of all the trees. Apparently, The course didn't have an outline for television. Trees make a better outline for TV. They do.
Yeah, okay. I'll go with that. But I just thought, you got guys ripping it 360 down the middle. They got 9-iron in hand, and they're feeling good when they're 20 something feet from the pin. And I'm thinking to myself, what is this, the U.S. Open?
Well, that's what they've wanted. The PGA's wanted that for a while now, David. They've done this.
No, I know. I just don't want to see 2 U.S. Open. It's not my favorite tournament. You like it a lot more than I do. The U.S. Open.
Yeah, I'd like to let them work to make par. I do.
I just
love where they're going this year.
Yeah, and I just don't want to see 2 U.S. Opens in the same year. So, but love the fact. I do love the fact that Aaron Rye won. I love the fact, life-changing. Okay, he'll always be a major champion. The fact that he's an Englishman, his story and his family story is remarkable. Okay, it's a great story. Awesome for him. Rory even said it when he was being interviewed. Rye, I think, was playing 18 when Rory was being interviewed. And he said, even if I had birdied the 2 par 5s and, not bogeyed the 300-yard par 4, I don't know if it would have been enough. It looks like, Aaron is taking care of business. And then he stopped and he said, and by the way, it's going to be a very popular win. Everybody loves the guy.
Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hello, hello.
You're not there.
I'm there on my end.
Okay, well, I can't hear you when I turn your mic off of your phone. The arrow next to your microphone when you're on StreamYard, David, there's an up arrow. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Click that.
It says show hidden icons.
Okay, show hidden icons, because I don't get that. I've got a microphone and a speaker thing then when I hit mine.
I have a microphone down below.
No, at the bottom of the screen where the microphone, next to that microphone, there's an arrow.
Yeah, it's two things away. When I hit it, it says show hidden icons.
Okay, show the hidden icons then. Click that.
Next to the microphone is OneDrive Personal.
Are you on StreamYard or are you on?
I'm on StreamYard.
You're doing this on, okay, I don't know what you're looking at, because on the bottom of my screen, I've got a microphone, a camera, a screen with the plus, a person with
I'm sorry. There's that.
Okay, I need you to hit the microphone up button.
Yeah. Okay. Microphone Scarlet, default speakers.
Microphone Scarlet. And that's your only microphone choice? If you hit that, if you then
it's microphone default communications. I have three choices. Let me try this. Does that work?
No.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Doesn't work, David.
Okay. So yeah, it gives me three choices. This is the third choice. 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1.
If you look at your picture at the bottom there, there's 3 dots on each of your pictures. There are no dots moving next to that microphone. I don't know. Like the dots move on your phone, not on the.
Right. Should I edit mic settings? Three, 2, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 3, 2, 1.
Hang on. I think it's just coming through your phone on the other one. Try that again.
3, 2, 3, 2, 1.
There we go. There you go. Talk to me.
3, 2, 3, 2, 1.
You're working.
Crap.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks for joining us on this Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. We are Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. So, should we not even mention where games are being played anymore? Do we think it's gotten to that? I mean, Mark, in these hockey and basketball playoffs, how many times do you think it's really mattered where the game was played in terms of the outcome? Because, first off, we got road teams winning a lot of games. 1, and 2, we got them winning big games.
Yeah, I mean, David, we've been honestly, you and I were ahead of the curve on this. We've been talking about this for a decade. That seemingly the only home court ice field that has mattered has been game 7 of the finals series, not of the first, not of the second, not of the third round, but of the Stanley Cup final, of the NBA finals, of the World Series. That's seemingly the only time it matters.
And I mean, it's one thing to win, but I mean, for goodness sake, San Antonio, it wasn't a game 7, but a deciding game, Minnesota season on the line. Anthony Edwards is shaking the Spurs players' hands during a media timeout with 8 minutes to go. They won by 30. I mean, Mark, our buddy Warner Wolf there, who was famous for saying if you had the Pistons in 30 and a half, you lost. I mean, come on. Before the game last night, in which I said it's going to be a rout, who'd you think was going to win? How big of a rout? No, I'm talking 30. What? Come on. They've played close games throughout until game 6.
Well, and in hockey in game 6, I mean, look, there's great atmospheres everywhere in sports, but Montreal is as good of an atmosphere as you will see for any team anywhere.
Right?
I mean, they're all wearing the jerseys. They got the guy coming in with a torch. They're going bat blank crazy, singing the Canadian anthem in both languages because they speak them both in Quebec. And then they get up 3-1 and get goat rodeoed.
Right.
I mean, Buffalo scores less than a minute into the game. It took Montreal a nanosecond to tie it. They scored 2 more. I'm texting with a couple of buddies and my son, and we're like, this thing's over. And then Buffalo comes storming back. And even when they came storming back, their goaltending's been so bad. I sent a text to a bunch of you and said, all right, how many do they need to get to win? I think 6.
And I agreed with you.
It was 4-3. It went to 5-3. And at 4-3, I said, all right, how many do they have to score to win? Because I think 6. Well, they kicked the extra point in that one. I mean, they just dominated.
Yeah, went for 2 at the end and got it. Yeah. Which was quite the gamble because if they had missed, it would have been 6-3. But boom. But
so there you go. Pistons at home, goat rodeoed. Montreal, a chance to win the series at home, goat rodeoed. Minnesota, the T-Wolves, a chance to extend the series. Now, of all of the games, I'll give the T-Wolves the break, if you will, a little bit because I thought San Antonio was just a better team.
Yeah, and they were favored in the game by 5.5, not 35.5.
Now, I picked Cleveland to win the series against Detroit because I thought Detroit had trouble scoring by anybody not named Cade Cunningham. But, I mean, when the game's still a game, Cade's giving the ball up to other players to shoot? What? So you're right, David. And obviously in baseball, it doesn't matter anymore. It hasn't, obviously, unless you're the Rays at home during the regular season, because apparently the Trop is the friendliest confines in all of baseball.
That's all they needed, Mark. They just needed to be back in the Trop. For as much as we celebrated outdoor baseball in Tampa last year, the team was like, get me back. 72 degrees. We can turn the air on harder when our pitcher's on the hill, and then we can change it when we get up there.
Now, I will say, David, if this, whatever this memorandum of understanding or whatever the hell the thing that they signed
what it is
with the Hillsborough government and the city of Tampa, I don't know. I've seen some renderings of the ballpark. I don't know exactly what this ballpark is supposed to look like. All I know is that you better have all the exact same dimensions of the Trop because apparently it's the toughest place to play in all of sports right now.
31,000 will be the seating capacity of the new digs if it gets approved.
I don't care what the seating capacity is, David. I need the right field line and left field lines to be the same distance. I don't care about the seats. I care about the dimensions of the ballpark because apparently this team can only hit there. Steinbrenner Field be damned.
The Longoria fence also down the left field line. We got to have that half wall so that when we need to hit a key homer to make the playoffs, that the ball can go over the half wall, not the full wall. The Longoria wall. We have to include that as well. But Gary Danielson, I think we were in our final year in the SEC full time. So I think this was 3 years ago. And he gave an interview leading up to a game we were doing in Knoxville, and which he was asked about, the atmosphere at Neyland Stadium. And Gary said, "Oh, it's great. It's great. But the atmosphere at the Swamp is great. The atmosphere at Kyle Field is great. In between the hedges is great. Bryant Denny is great. Auburn is great. You got a lot of cathedrals here in the SEC. I mean, they're all great." And he said, these players at these big time schools, this was right before Texas and Oklahoma joined. They're used to playing in these, stadiums. I, don't know how much of a factor, it is going forward. Oh my goodness. I mean, you'd have thought, he came in and said, the South sucks. Okay. I'm all for the North. Seriously. I mean, they pillaged them in the press and on talk radio for days. And he was just trying to say, I've been doing this a while. I mean, road teams go on the road and handle it and win. I mean, they're used to it by now. It's noisy. It's great. But you got to play football. And that's what I'm seeing this year, Mark, especially. Hoop, hockey. Yeah, I don't want to hear. I mean, seriously, ESPN sending PK Subban to the streets of Montreal. And at the end of the first period, in which he goes, "Oh, man, guys, the atmosphere here is second to none." What the hell does that have to do with the Canadians and the Sabres on the ice? Seriously, you're out in the street, for God's sakes.
David, the last thing, and this is probably going to tick off Gator fan, the last home field that I thought, and they never played there anyhow, but the last home field that did something that was also on the field, the crowd would get going in Athens when Georgia had it going on. But then Georgia and Kirby had that defensive shift thing that they can't do anymore.
Right.
That caused problems. In the midst of all the yelling, and all of a sudden all the defensive players shift 6 to 8 inches to the right or left, that was causing teams to jump. That combination. Now, right. I think it had more to do with the player movement than the noise, but I think the combination of the two created something we had not seen really ever before. And now you can't even do it.
So I'm just wondering, should we even mention where the games are being played at for the rest of the playoffs? Is it that irrelevant?
I think from wins and losses, it's being proven that it is. I do. But we have to mention it because it's part of the deal.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
It is there. Palkowitz, you're my guy from the slider bar there, aren't you? From Fat Cats, if I remember right. I've been in there a few times. You don't ever work if you're still there. You have more time off than yeah, you take more time off than Stern does, for crying out loud. But you have a great waitress. She almost seems, I don't mean this in a bad way, she almost seems phony. She's so nice and helpful. But she's always there. She's wonderful. I've been there since I've been there in the last 3 weeks 3 times. And I have not seen you. In fact, I've not seen a man there. I see 2 waitresses, and the one seems to be in charge. You've trained her well, or someone has, because she does a terrific job. You, on the other hand, you're probably over at Tacos and Tequila knocking down shots.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Whit Watson will join us in an hour here on Miller and Moulton. Recap the PGA. Look forward in the world of golf. So, just want to throw this out there. Don't know if it's a whole segment. Owners meetings in the NFL in Orlando today and tomorrow, and I think into Wednesday. So apparently today, the owners want an answer from the Bears. Is it Chicago or is it Northwest Indiana? And like you said last week, have they ever done this to an ownership group before? I mean, aren't they kind of hurting the Bears' negotiating leverage by shortening the process? But the only thing I could think of, Mark, is that the owners have sat around and have kind of kicked out Super Bowls. Okay, now they've only voted on a few. We only know the next 3 Super Bowl locations. This year's LA, then I think we've got Atlanta and Vegas, which is a small number. We normally know like 5 or 6 in advance. Right now, we only know 3. Which brings us to the other story that I guess is going to take place tomorrow. Nashville. They're getting it. 2029 season. February 2030. Barring the unforeseen, I can't remember. Have they ever voted down a city before?
Well, I don't know about voting down a city. There used to be several cities that were bidding on the Super Bowl, and you knew that it was between whatever, Tampa and whatever. And one of the 4 whatevers always got it, and Tampa finished second.
So apparently the Bears have to tell the NFL whether they're going to the racetrack or whether they're going to Indiana. And tomorrow, Nashville's going to get a Super Bowl. Now, I know it's been 30 years since you lived there, but if while you were trying to make a minor league hockey team run, if somebody had tapped you on the shoulder and said, 30 years from now, Super Bowl going to be here. Did you see that kind of potential in Nashville?
No, because Nashville hadn't started its boom yet. I mean, I remember a couple of things. One, now the Titans were moving to Memphis. I mean, they were coming, but they were moving to Memphis for a couple of years, and that was starting to happen. Lou Lamoriello was walking downtown, and we saw him one day, and the hockey coach that I worked with, Mark Kumple, he's like, "Is that Lou Lamoriello? What's he doing here?" And that's when the Devils were very close to going to Nashville.
Right.
Probably would have been better off for them. But there was no talk of NHL. The downtown was not, I mean, what people go see now, that's not the Nashville I lived in. Tootsie's was still a dive bar, okay? Now it's world famous Tootsie's. 2nd Avenue had a couple of places. That was about it. It was not the Nashville I lived in was the Nashville that, that damn near Willie and Waylon were talking about.
Right.
Way back when. It had Music Row was Nashville. That's where you had pretty buildings. And, I remember walking in to deliver season tickets to a guy on Music Row going, "Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. This is where people record. Wow, this is cool." Downtown was kind of dumpy.
Right.
Printer's Alley was somewhere you didn't really want to walk down. And now and that you had the Opryland Hotel. The Ryman was the Ryman, but the Opryland Hotel is where they had the Grand Ole Opry, and still do, I believe. But the town was very different.
Well,
so no, I could never have envisioned. I'll be honest. I knew that the NFL was going to work and work well there. I did. I never had doubt. Football was a big deal, but it was always more of a Tennessee volunteer town than the 6 people that liked Vanderbilt.
Right.
And it pissed them off. I mean, the Vandy person hated the fact that everybody in that town liked Tennessee. They wanted Vandy to be it, and they never were going to be.
No
one went to games, and most of the people that were there were rooting for the opposition. I think it's still that way largely until the last 2 years.
Yeah, maybe it's Pavia, to be honest. But
yeah.
So maybe the NFL owners force the Bears' hand. Why? I don't know. Only thing I can think of is that they want a shovel in the ground, and they want this sucker built in a certain time frame because they want it as part of the Super Bowl rotation. Otherwise, I don't get it personally.
I do think Indy and Minneapolis are done with Super Bowls when Chicago gets a venue, particularly if it's in the city.
Totally. Absolutely, positively, 100%. Now, I never thought Minneapolis was going to get another one. They got theirs because, the Metrodome got built and then the new stadium got built.
But they did a good job with it. They had the outdoor events. It's an indoor stadium.
Totally.
Lots to do. I never heard people complain other than about the cold weather in Minneapolis.
Correct.
It has its, I don't know about charm, but it has the ability to get everywhere really close. It's not a big enough city really for Super Bowls. It's not. You can have your combine and eat it too. But yeah, David, maybe you're right. Maybe this is a Super Bowl thing. But I don't envision Chicago being on the rotation once a decade, once every 15 years. But I don't imagine there being 6, 7 cities and Chicago being one of them.
Well, right now, Mark, there's only 2 cities that I know of that I feel confident saying is part of the rotation.
SoFi and Vegas?
Yeah. I mean, the NFL looks as if every 5 years, they're treating those 2 locations like they're St. Andrews. Every 5, 6 years, we get back here. But the other places, I don't know. I mean, first off, they're still having to take care of, like Nashville, that got a bunch of new stadiums coming up here. Now they got to be indoor stadiums. Okay, Buffalo ain't getting a Super Bowl. Jacksonville ain't getting a Super Bowl. They're not, even with the weather in February. I don't think Jacksonville's getting a Super Bowl. Tampa's going to get a Super Bowl. I'm convinced of that.
You're the only one. I hope you're right, David, but you're the only one. I mean, let me just stop you with that one. When's Tampa getting a Super Bowl? When they refurbish the stadium?
Yes. Yeah, which, by the way, in theory, they're supposed to vote this week. I believe both Hillsborough County and the city of Tampa are supposed to vote this week. I believe Hillsborough County's vote is scheduled for Wednesday night. But I believe they're both supposed to vote this week.
On the baseball stadium.
Yeah, whether it's up or down. Okay. Next up is the Bucks and Raymond James and asking for their stadium. Well, when they go, they're going to say, I know you're probably not crazy about spending more money right now, but do you want a Super Bowl? Yes or no? Because if we spend this money, we're going to get one. And I think they're right. I mean, hell, the downtown's only gotten tremendously better since the last time they had the Super Bowl there. And, I know the NFL doesn't have a lot of loyalty, and I know the NFL's all about greed, but they owe Tampa. I mean, they do. Tampa did the COVID Super Bowl. They got nothing out of it. Okay, those guys know that. I would like to think when they upgrade the stadium, on top of the fact that the last Super Bowl was a dud, that sometime, Mark, I don't know, 2032 or 3, Tampa gets their Super Bowl.
I don't think they're on a rotation.
No,
If
I
they
don't
get
either.
one, they get one.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
they seemingly like to go to Arizona. There's nothing down the pike for Arizona right now. They love New Orleans. They love Atlanta.
Well, they go to Atlanta, not this year, the following year. But it's LA, Atlanta, Vegas, and apparently tomorrow, the 2029 season, February of 2030, Nashville.
And, you know, a lot of people, I know it's not the casinos, but, you know, Nashville's kind of become the Vegas of, I don't know about the East, but we'll call it that for sake of argument. The South, where I don't know what you want. I don't know what geographic location you want to put Nashville in. If the Southeast wants to claim it, they can have it. But those two, I could see. I could see Nashville hurting Atlanta's chances of getting Super Bowls as regularly as they've been getting them.
Ooh, interesting.
David, they're 2.5 hours apart.
No, I know that, but that's choosing Nashville over Atlanta.
Right.
Huh.
If you were to ask, in fact, David, every time you go through a drive-through,
Wow, it's a lot.
I know. Ask Atlanta or Nashville. You may get more Atlantas. I don't know. Depends on the workers. But I just wonder, you know, I think most people would, if asked where they'd want to go visit, Nashville would win 9-1.
But when's the last time for an event in the South that Atlanta's lost? Atlanta's the capital of the South when it comes to sporting events.
Right, because there's no other domes anywhere in the South, David. There's not one other dome in the South.
Okay.
So, I mean, that was it. That was your choice. There's no dome in Charlotte. And New Orleans would get their fair share. Now, the city that you and I think's ridiculous that it continues to get Super Bowls is this Santa Clara, San Francisco thing. That's a joke.
Well, they've gotten 2 big anniversary Super Bowls, 50 and 60. We'll see whether or not they get 70. We'll see. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. And I think too many Super Bowls are out west. Maybe it doesn't matter where the Super Bowl is, but I think the NFL's put way too many Super Bowls out west. I mean, 2 LA Super Bowls in like 5 years, 2 Vegas Super Bowls in like 6. Okay, you throw in San Fran and Arizona, and I mean, come on. What the heck?
So, DC's getting a new stadium.
Yep. They'll get one.
I
They
believe
will.
that's true.
Yeah, it's domed. Okay, they'll get one, I think.
I'll be fascinated if Cleveland does. Raj already gave the out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of infrastructure that has to happen in Cleveland for that city to get a Super Bowl.
Right. He said the stadium will be Super Bowl worthy. He didn't say the city is.
I think what'll be interesting out of Indianapolis, Cleveland, and Chicago, where in the Big Ten championship's probably done. You know, I mean, if Petiti gets what he wants, we're going to lose championship games. But of those cities, where do you see a natty going first? I say Chicago.
Totally.
And the same for Final Fours. Now, Indiana will probably still get their fair shake because the NCAA offices are still in Indianapolis the last time I checked. But that's the part for the college fan is, does Indianapolis lose they're because the championship's going away. By the end of the decade, David, are we still playing SEC and Big Ten championship games?
If the playoff stays at 12 and 16, yes. I don't think we lose the championship games till it goes to 24.
Boy, they're irrelevant at 16.
I agree completely.
For the Big Ten and the SEC. You could argue for the Big 12 and for the ACC that maybe there's some relevance. And for the Power 5 conferences, it could be the difference of who gets in and who doesn't. But I do wonder from an Indianapolis standpoint, David, if that's something that they see, with those championship games going away, do you see Indianapolis losing their hold? Because I think Chicago would be getting natties and Final Fours. Miller and Moulton.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I'm with you, Dratharian. I'll take the Ravens till proven otherwise. Although I will say, we had that Ian on. He talked about the Lions having a tough schedule. I looked at their schedule and their home games. Man, I see them winning a lot of games. And I'm not a Lions fan. I think you guys know that by now. Well, to call them my Pistons would be a stretch, but they got whooped, Left Twix. They got whooped from the word go. They don't. I mean, I did pick Cleveland in the series, Left Twix, before it started. So, I mean, I picked Cleveland to beat Detroit a month ago in the series. They don't have scoring.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Miller and Moulton on this Monday. Thanks so much for being with us. Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for starting your week off with us. Whit Watson to join us coming up in about 35 minutes time. Kicking it around today after a, interesting PGA because there were many different storylines and most of them did not involve the big boys in the sport. Aaron Rai? Is that why you take the field, Mark? Aaron Rai? Wow. In some places, he was almost 300 to 1 right before the tournament started. He becomes the first Englishman to win the PGA since the end of World War I. So Aronimink has turned out to be fairly historic. They didn't have a major for 64 years. Then when they do, they have something that hasn't happened in over 100 years.
Crazy.
So, yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
Yep. Great for him. Changes his life. And, I think he was a top 50 golfer in the world, though. And it's not like he was, to me, Todd Hamilton and Ben Crane were out there when they won the Open Championship. But I believe he was a top 50 golfer in the world.
David, he has 2 gloves and he uses iron covers. I mean, although the story behind the iron covers, I brought it up earlier in the show. For those of you that didn't read it, I think it's very cool. He grew up with no money. He became good at golf. His parents sprung on good clubs for him. He didn't want them to get dinged up. He used iron covers. His dad apparently, with like a safety pin or a pin that you would use to sew clothes and baby oil, would clean the grooves nightly for him. And he put the iron covers on kind of as an homage to how he grew up and to his father. And the 2 gloves comes from playing in England where it was cold. And then he just got comfortable with it. Played in a lot of cold weather growing up or rain and things like that. And the 2 gloves became comfortable. But the iron covers is an homage to his childhood and to growing up and to his father. And there's nothing less cool than iron covers.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you for saying that. As a caddy, Man, did I hate the bag
Well,
that had iron covers.
and David, back when you were caddying, iron covers were very popular. I had iron covers when I was a teen playing golf. I did. I think by the time I was in high school, they were gone, but I played a lot of junior golf. David, everybody had iron covers. I worked in the pro shop. We cleaned a lot of clubs when they came in for the people that had club storage. There were a lot of iron covers back in the day. And thank goodness they went away.
Yeah, we golf with different golfers. There's one golfer I remember who golfed with iron covers, but caddying at the country club, now that was a different story. Oh my goodness, the iron covers. Oh, hated them.
But there's nothing cool about iron covers, certainly in 2026. But it's pretty cool for the reason that he has them.
Yep. Yep. And when you win the PGA, they become cool again.
No, they don't.
No?
No.
No? I thought it was like the difference between being weird and an eccentric.
No. See,
If you're
David,
successful, it's eccentric. If you're not, you're weird.
no, when Jack wins the Masters in 86 with a big putter, people run out and buy big putters.
Correct.
When Aaron Rye wins the PGA with iron covers, I don't think that the golf stores up and down I-75 from here to Tampa are going to be flooded with people walking in going, I need to get a set of iron covers today. I don't think Amazon deliveries of iron covers are going to go up that substantially in the next 24 hours. That's all.
I am a little surprised the two glove thing hasn't caught on more, though, because we grew up when it was cold and we ventured out pretty early. We weren't, at least I did. I wasn't waiting till the weather broke. I had to get out there and start hitting the little white or yellow or orange ball. Let's go. I had to go. I don't care that it's snow flurries. Okay. I can find the ball. Let's go.
I know people that wear the dual rain glove in Florida in the summer because their hands sweat so much that the rain gloves are grippier. But you can all call me soft. I will take it right now. But what I believe, if I remember right, what I had when I played when it was cold up north, more in the fall, because that's when I played high school golf and that's when the golf season was. I had like gloves that I just put on my hands when it was cold out, like actual gloves. And then I took them off when I hit and put the gloves back on. So if that's soft, I'm guilty. I've got no issues with that.
No.
But the two glove thing, for whatever reason, he's done it. Let's just hope he doesn't make the same mistakes that the other two glove guy did and, get caught in a sting for hookers.
Man, I hate when that happens.
Don't we all?
I mean, that really hurts my sponsors, and the PGA Tour. You want to talk about a professional organization that's willing to look the other way. I mean, unless you're Tiger Woods, no way.
By the way, just quick.
Oh boy.
No. Just quickly on Tiger.
Uh-huh.
Thought it was interesting that in his DUI case, that all of his prescription meds are part of evidence that he's going that they won. The prosecution won that Tiger has to disclose all of his prescription medicines. That's kind of walking a fine line. Apparently, reading the article that there are plenty of attorneys that say, yeah, that's fair game in this particular case. But you think Tiger wants that? I mean,
no, they fought it hard.
I know.
Which, by the way, the prosecution is going after him. I mean, you'd think the prosecution's a talking head that's angry at Tiger and wants him to finally face the music. I mean, man, they are going after him. They're making up for L.A.
Right, in Palm Beach County. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm stunned.
Right. He's not the biggest celebrity in their county.
No, but he's Tiger Woods in that county. This doesn't happen to folks with those zip codes.
No, I know.
That's the point here. Like, really? This hasn't already been pled to a reckless and we haven't called it a day yet? Are you kidding me? So that one, and that was might have been 2 weeks ago that came out, but just since you mentioned him, it hit my head. I'm not picking on Tiger, just that in the surprise category, David, that one surprised me.
Yeah, I was surprised that he lost. I was surprised that the prosecution won. Okay, I raised eyebrows when they were going for it, and I went, wow, good for you, but, they're going to hide behind HIPAA or something here.
I thought Phil had a better shot of doing commentary on CBS than that information coming out. That's all. That's all.
By the way, did anybody notice, that Phil Mickelson in both Rolex ads and PGA of America ads? Okay, I understand he's a 6-time major champion and a 2-time winner of the PGA, but I don't remember Phil being in ads for Rolex or the PGA the last couple years.
I was just more surprised by the Scheffler Rolex ads because he's such a pitch man.
And you got to, though.
And I mentioned it earlier. I thought it was to tell you how much to me that CBS didn't want Aaron Rye to win. They started talking about Cam Smith and John Rahm a lot.
Right.
Hell, they were showing Patrick Reed at points. I mean, what the hell?
I think it's because LIV is almost over. I think that's their excuse, but you're right. No, you're right.
The only names they had Rory, and Rory's falling. I mean, not falling apart, but Rory's not going to make birdies the way when he had a bunker on the short par 4, and then he blows it way right on the he hits a safe wood, hits that in the rough, hits his drive where he can't get home in 2 on the par 5. It's like he's done. So they're trying to find something of where it's a name because Alex Smalley ain't getting it done either, if you know what I mean.
Didn't you love how they kept Rory at the bottom of the leaderboard, though, throughout? Rory McIlroy, 4 under par. Okay, he wasn't making any birdies at all. It's not like he was going up, down, up, down. I don't think he ever got to 5. Okay, but he was at 4 under forever. Okay, and they made sure, even though he was 8th, okay, they made sure they kept Rory on the bottom of their, on-screen leaderboard there, even though there were 4 other guys with him at 4 under. But Rory was there. He was lurking.
Said it before. Wife asked me who I was rooting for. I said, I don't know if I'm rooting for anybody. I'd like to see Rory now. Well, at least he's got a personality of someone that's on the leaderboard. It's a boring leaderboard.
He was.
Rahm's got the personality of a bar of soap. I know you like John Rahm. There's nothing exciting about John Rahm.
No, there can be, but he was behaving. I wanted the temper, John Rahm. You're missing birdie putts. You're leaving 15-foot putts short. Okay? No. Give me Ryder Cup, John Rahm. That's who I want.
I mean, I've got a bunch of no names in the Preakness on Saturday. I've got a bunch of unknowns in the PGA. The hell?
I could see. Tough weekend.
But we've got Game 7 tonight in hockey.
Got to bet on Montreal.
Absolutely.
Road teams are 4-2 in this series. Canadians are 5-2 on the road in the playoffs. Buffalo's 2-4 at home in the playoffs. No? I mean, don't you have to bet on Les Habitants, who, by the way, have not lost 2 in a row for a month? No?
I bet on Montreal.
I'm rooting for Buffalo, but I'd bet on the Habitants all night.
I don't, first bad game that goaltender's played for Montreal. We'll see how he comes back in Game 7 because he was absolutely awful in Game 6.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And With a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
If you say so, Pleasant Journeys. You had 3 horses that ran in the Derby and the Preakness. Maybe if you follow horses. And what is John Rahm 1 being a live guy? Is that a shot at the PGA? I don't understand, Left Twix. What, like, maybe I'm dumb, but I don't understand really what you're asking there. I would say Hope Solo is a more known name, Pleasant Journeys, but that's just me.
Twix, why would they have left Twix? Why would they have not allowed him back?
The PGA, they're not going to allow Rahm back. The PGA of America will, but the PGA is not going to.
Well, that's what we're talking about here. He said the PGA. Okay.
I think he means the tour.
Oh, okay.
I'm just assuming he means the tour there.
Oh, no, the tour wouldn't have cared.
I didn't listen enough to pay attention, Super Joe. I did not see the backlash nationally that we had during the Masters, but a couple of you say that.
We also didn't have the viewership that we had during the Masters.
But the people on X aren't. I mean,
right?
That's the sports media. That's what they live for, to talk to one another on that. But I didn't see the outrage from sports media of it, but If you say so. It didn't bother me any. It's not a tour event, though, Left Twix. That's the thing. It's the PGA of America. It's separate. The majors are all separate from the PGA Tour. That's just, I mean, it may be semantics to you, but it is not a PGA Tour event. The PGA Tour and the PGA of America are two separate entities. The PGA of America runs the PGA, and it also runs the Ryder Cup. The tour is separate, just for what it's worth.
Which is one of the reasons why the tour is pushing for the players to become a major, because they want in on the act. Oh, don't get me going about Trevor Immelman.
Okay, I don't know what the man from Uncle is. Hell, I don't even know who Robert Vaughn is. I must be a very dumb person because I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Although I will say, for those of you that told me to watch Mobland, I started watching it. You were right. That's good. I like that.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Whit Watson to join us in a little more than 15 minutes time. Earlier, we had talked about the NFL owners' meetings and what may come out of it. Looks like Nashville gets their Super Bowl. So the next 4 Super Bowls, including this season, will be Los Angeles, Atlanta, Vegas, Nashville. Think of it as LAVN. LA, Atlanta, Vegas, Nashville.
Wow, it's a lot. That's a hell of an acronym there for us, David.
I know. The other thing that apparently is coming out of it is we know the draft next year is in D.C. Apparently the following year, 2028, it will be Minneapolis. Hello.
Well, that's what you're going to get now, Minneapolis and Indy. Combines and drafts, Super Bowl days are gone. But I think you already knew some of that. Can I go way off the beaten path here for a moment?
Yeah.
I saw a story, and it's not really a good, bad, and ugly story, and it's not a sports story. So I may frustrate you here, David. But these Waymo driverless taxis. Apparently, there's a area in Atlanta, a residential area. And for whatever reason, how these taxis are programmed, apparently the Waymos keep going around this certain cul-de-sac in a residential neighborhood in Atlanta. And it's kind of bothering the folks there. Apparently they put some signs up, and then that's just causing them to get stuck trying to turn around. So that didn't work. But they're pretty big in LA, I believe. Now they're in Atlanta. You're someone who likes a taxi cab over an Uber or a Lyft. You would rather take a taxi than the app service of Uber and Lyft. Are you jumping in a driverless taxi? Like, how many of you out there, Pelican Roofing in Florida text line, 21,000's the number. The keyword's Miller if you've never texted the show. How likely are you? Now, you have a car a lot of the time on the road now, but I do know that you had to take taxis from time to time.
Yeah.
How likely are you to jump in a driverless taxi? Because you like a taxi cab driver, I think, don't you? You're a New York City cab guy.
I would never jump in a driverless car. Ever. For the rest of my life. I will never jump in a driverless car.
Really?
Absolutely.
Now, I believe that, by the end of our lives in all big cities, these are going to become far more popular than any other way of taking a ride. And what's the reason behind it? You just
I
don't
don't trust it. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Okay. There's no way I'm putting my life in the hands of a driverless car.
You've seen some of the people that drive cabs?
Yeah.
I think you're far safer with the driverless one than you are with some of these taxi cab drivers.
Yeah. I've never had a problem. Never been in an accident. Never been taken to the wrong place. All right. And I've been in 200 of them. I just absolutely not. The whole thing to me, it seems, for lack of a better phrase, asinine to me. The concept is asinine. Okay. There's so much stuff that happens on the road, and you mean to tell me that some sensors or whatever it is that they're using, okay, and they're going to get it all every time. I don't trust it. I don't. I would not feel safe at all being in a driverless car. And I'm sure people now, they're going to send me the statistics and what have you. I just don't care. Don't bother. There is literally nothing you could do. You could come up to me and say, get in the driverless car or you're going to die by the end of the day. And I'd say, can you give me a phone so I could say goodbye to the people I want to say goodbye to? Okay. I'm not getting in, never mind a cab. I mean, I won't get in it if we're going somewhere and all of a sudden you get a driverless car. I literally would be like, what the hell? And you're like, yeah, driverless car. I'm like, I'm good. I'll meet you there.
So you're saying if I owned a Tesla, I picked you up and I set it to let the Tesla drive the car, you would get out?
Well, no, because you're sitting behind the wheel. Okay.
But I'm letting the Tesla drive.
Okay. But if something goes wrong, if the brake needs to be pushed harder, okay, you're there. You can correct it, right?
I don't know. I believe so. I've never been in a car that can do that.
Right.
My wife's car has a steering mechanism that if you start drifting out of the lane, it will push you back to the middle of the lane. I turn that feature off when I drive. I also turn the feature off and I don't use cruise control a lot. There's too many damn cars on the highway to effectively use cruise control anymore. But it has that adaptive cruise so that if the car in front of you is going 74 and you're going 79, your car just slows down and it doesn't ride the bumper to let the car in front of you know that their ass should be out of the left lane. So I turn that feature off when I drive my wife's car.
Okay.
I'm not saying I don't like the idea of driverless cars simply because what is that leading to in the number of people? This is another AI thing that scares the hell out of me, whether it's Uber drivers, taxi drivers, how long before it's the truck driver and we're taking people out of jobs. I mean, there are a whole segment of our population that make their living by driving.
Oh, I don't even want to get into all the
Right.
AI and all the.
I'm just talking about driving.
Right.
I'm literally just talking about that technology. I'm not even getting into all the AI stuff.
No, I'm a big fan of human beings doing things, for lack of a better phrase. Like, I don't know why I have to bag my own groceries. Seriously? I'm shopping here. You're getting my money. Put the damn groceries in the bag. No, I don't care if I can go to that line and it's faster. No, I'm what? I have to do all the work here? Well, where's my refund? Do I get 10% off? If I go over there and bag my own stuff, do I get 10% off?
No, but I will say I get out a hell of a lot faster than waiting at the line.
I'm good.
I bring my one bag with me. I fill said bag up, and I just put the stuff back in the same bag I used, and I'm out of there lickety split.
Nope.
I have jumped into that world.
Nope. There's a guy who's getting paid to bag groceries. I'm a big fan of his gainful employment.
At least you put your cart back in the cart place.
And I do that too.
I know.
Hell.
The excuse that I've been getting in our chat room for a year is that, well, the people have to have a job to do. So you can
not only do I put my cart back, Mark, I put your cart back. If you leave it out, if you leave a cart within 3 car spaces of me, I go grab that sucker and put it where it's supposed to be.
By the way, by and large, everybody with David, no one's getting in a driverless taxi. Little different story on self-checkout. But you don't do Uber really. Unless you have to, you won't do an Uber, right?
No, because I don't like the fact they can cancel on me. So I schedule it and I'm waiting and they're 1 minute out and all of a sudden, no, they've canceled. They've gone with somebody else. So what the hell am I supposed to do? I just waited 15 minutes for this.
Yeah, I've never had an Uber or a Lyft cancel on me.
Oh my goodness. I've had it happen 30 times.
You know who doesn't cancel on you? That driverless taxi.
Well played.
Whit Watson to wrap up the PGA. That's next. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I have no thoughts on that, Left Twix. That's disturbing to me, but whatever turns you on, my man. Funhouse, I think you're 100% right. I don't necessarily like it, but I think you're 100% right. Oh, I got to call Whit. Whit, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right, perfect. Sounding great. Like I said, we go live here in about 15 seconds now. So
Okay.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Thrilled to have Whit Watson back on the show. He broadcasts golf on many different networks. And he hosts a golf show. It's called Making the Cut. It's on Saturdays in Orlando and in Jacksonville and on the iHeart Radio app. Follow Whit on X at Real Whit Watson, Real Whit Watson. Whit, David and Mark, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Really enjoyed watching the PGA Championship this weekend. I thought the golf course was an absolute stunner on TV, and we got a winner that we didn't expect. As I said last night when I was wrapping this up for Westwood One on their postgame show, the winner we didn't expect, but maybe the winner we deserved, given what the examination was over the last 4 days.
Well, I'm curious as to your basic, more expounding on the golf course, but obviously Aaron Rye was terrific. And for those that wanted to see more birdies, they should have played like he did because he made 4 on the backside when no one else seemingly could. But why?
Right.
What was it about the golf course that you enjoyed the most, Whit?
Well, that there wasn't, you didn't need, like Ferris wheels and forced carries and 900-yard par fives to make an exacting test for these players. And this course was laid out by Donald Ross in 1926, I believe, late 20s. And it's had restorations. They talked about it a lot on the broadcast. Gil Hanse and his crew came in and kind of revived it, but they revived it back to where the Donald Ross layout originally looked. Golf's hard enough. You don't have to make it impossible off the tee. And where this golf course challenged these players was around the greens. And there wasn't a flat putt to be had anywhere on the course. And I just thought it was kind of refreshing to see these guys have to sit and think about a 4-foot par putt as opposed to just walking up there and mindlessly tapping it in. And we saw, Scotty Scheffler, he took, I forgot what the stat was, something like 125 putts over these 4 days, which was, 125 putts, which was too shy of the most he's ever had in a major championship. That's where he lost the championship, is on the green, not off the tee, but on the green. And I just thought that was kind of refreshing. It was a new way to watch the game where you're not really what they do off the tee. Yeah, you can hurt yourself. I mean, Rory McIlroy shot his way out of it by losing control of his driver. But the game was won and lost on the greens.
Well, Brandel Chambly loved the course also. There were a lot of people that loved the course. To me, I thought I was watching a mini U.S. Open, and I only can watch that tournament once a year. It wasn't as penal as a U.S. Open. I just thought they had a lot of short clubs in their hands and couldn't even aim at pins and had to play to the middle of the green and try to make 20-footers. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because on my show, we talked to the head pro at Applewood, which is a course that's 9 miles away from Aronimink in Philly. And we spoke to their head pro on the radio show. And I said, have you ever seen pins at Aronimink in those locations? Because you're right. Those whole locations were, as Scheffler said, absurd on Thursday or Friday, he called them. And he said, yeah, every time we play the PGA section at Aronimink, that's where they put those flags. So it wasn't unprecedented. I understand what you're saying about a U.S. Open, and I do tend to agree that, off the tee, they had de-treed the golf course, so there wasn't nearly as much of that kind of penalty off the tee. Right. But where they were on the greens was not unprecedented. It wasn't just this week. They've done that before. So I don't know, throwing that in there, that this is not like, it wasn't like the PGA did something that no one had ever done. It's just that we don't see Aronimink very often. We haven't played a PGA there since 1962. So it was new to us, put it that way.
How surprised were you that, one, that it was Rye, that, that the names, the guys we expect struggled on Sunday by and large, not named Justin Thomas, who got out early and showed everybody that, I thought the big thing about Thomas shooting the number was he gave everybody the idea that, hey, that's out there to be had. And Aaron Rye was the only one that could really equal it of the leaders.
What they say about Rye, and I'm not going to lie and pretend that I knew a lot about him before this week. I mean, I knew his story, but I didn't know much about the player. And what I've read this morning, those that do know him say he is one of the most precise practitioners of his craft, that nothing is sloppy. Everything is very specific. He practices with a purpose. And in the case of Sunday, what the game plan was, as Justin Thomas laid out, was that you really couldn't make any big mistakes. And maybe the middle of the green was the way to do it. Now, it helps to make a 65-foot birdie putt on 17, which Rye did. And he said afterwards to Amanda Balionis, I wasn't trying to make that putt. But I just think he didn't make big mistakes. And maybe that is a U.S. Open vibe. Maybe you're right. but he improved his play each round. 70, 69, 67, 65. That's the guy that deserves to win the golf tournament, is that he's figured out what the formula is and he gets better at it every day.
Whit Watson covers golf for a living, broadcasts golf as well. His show on Saturdays on iHeartRadio and live on the radio in Orlando and Jacksonville is called Making the Cut. Follow him on X at Real Whit Watson, Real Whit Watson. The other thing is, let's be honest, he plays the last 10 holes 6 under, and he didn't hit one bad shot. Not one. Not one nervous shot. When he got 3 shots clear, when he got to 8, and I think it was Smalley who was at 6, made bogey, and he had a 3-shot lead. And I thought to myself, I wonder if he caught a glimpse of the leaderboard, and will we see holy blank, I'm winning the PGA Championship shot here. Yeah, he just kept throttling fairways and not just hitting middle of the greens. I mean, he had out. The funny thing was he makes the putt on 17. That was the only putt he had that seemed to be outside of 25 feet. I mean, he was hitting great iron shots in.
I think everybody, I'll go one step further. I think when he made the eagle, most of us thought, okay, here it comes, right? This guy is finally going to figure out that he's Aaron Rai. He's 31 years old. He's a journeyman with 1 win on the PGA Tour, and this thing's going to unravel. I think a lot of people thought that. And to your point, he didn't miss a shot, and he made birdies on the second 9, 4 of them, when nobody else. Jon Rahm made 1 birdie on the back 9, and at one point was within 1 shot of the lead. I mean, nobody was doing anything. Nobody who was still out there was doing anything. Justin Thomas had been done for 3.5 hours. All he could do was sit around and wait. And the guy just is unflappable, just stared history down, and when you make putts, even though he said I wasn't trying to make it, when you make a putt like the one he made on 17, I think everybody else in the field just goes, you know what? It's your day. Okay, man, we did the best we could. We're not catching this guy. And yeah, I think everybody was not only surprised, but impressed by how he kept the pressure on and wouldn't let anybody close.
And, you made the point earlier about the greens, because it wasn't really about drives. I mean, Scheffler was first in driving accuracy. Rory was 75th or something like that. And the driver got Rory in trouble. But Scheffler, his iron play, which had not been great this year, wasn't great this week. And where Rai won this is that he was great yesterday. I mean, it's hard to put your head around, isn't it, Whit? Because he was great for 10 holes yesterday. Not good, great.
Yeah, I mean, arguably the best 10-hole stretch of his career, of his life. But you also have to add in that he kept his head, and he's a Brit, keep calm and carry on, right? He kept his head when other players around him were struggling. And there was a stat on McIlroy after the first day of the tournament. He was like 141st of 156 players in driving accuracy. That driver betrayed him. In the same way that the putter let Scotty down. Scotty lost because of his putter, and Rory lost because of his driver in the last 4 days. And as a winner, you've got to have a little bit of that. Like, you have to have something has to happen to somebody else to help you win a major. And certainly Rai got a little bit of help, because the best players in the world didn't have their best when it mattered. Like I said, Jon Rahm made 1 birdie in his last, I believe, 10 holes. You got to have a little bit of that. It doesn't take away from what Rai did, but that's part of the factor, isn't it? Is that nobody was there to catch him. Nobody, there was no one, there was very little drama over the last hour of that golf tournament, because there wasn't anybody who was mounting a charge.
It's also remarkable. Rory's the greatest driver of his generation, greatest driver since Norman. And he can't hit a fairway as wide as those at Aronimink this week. That's remarkable. Here's another thing that's remarkable. I mean, we're all into sports. We all love great stories. We think of the Masters as difficult to win. We think of the Opens as difficult to win. What is it that people need to complete the career Grand Slam? outside of Arnie and Watson, it's usually not the PGA. And yet, not Harry Vardon, not Sir Henry Cotton, not Jacqueline, not Faldo, and not the contemporaries Rose or Fitzpatrick who have won majors. The first Englishman to win the PGA in 107 years is Aaron Rai. I mean, what were the odds on that on Thursday?
And the only Englishman ever to win the PGA Championship since it went to a stroke play format. There was Jim Barnes. We don't want to discredit Jim Barnes from 1919, but yeah, certainly you would have thought that accolade that you just described would have been one held by Faldo or Donald or Rose or one of the two Fitzpatricks. But the fact that it's Aaron Rai says a lot about him. I mean, it was his week. And, to get the story, and for those who don't know, he's known for wearing two gloves, and that's what everybody sees. And he also he uses head covers on his irons. And he does this because he is the children of immigrants. His dad was from India, mom from Kenya. They supported his junior golf career in Great Britain at a time when the family didn't have a lot of money. So his dad used to clean his clubs with like a nail file and baby oil after every round to extend their lifespan. And so Aaron put covers on his irons and puts covers on his irons to this day as an homage to his mom and dad, for a way of saying thank you for the sacrifice to let me play golf. And as you heard during the ceremonies yesterday, you can't find anybody on the golf course that doesn't like the guy. He's universally loved and universally respected. One of the nicest people in golf is what they all say. So in that sense, it's a great story, even though not the guy we would have expected at the beginning of the week.
And finally, Mark and Whit, I'll leave you with this. He is smart. When the round was over and he was asked, who's your favorite football team? And he said, the Eagles. And he leads the crowd in a chant of EAGLES, 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 Eagles. I mean, he is smart, besides a great golfer.
For our fans who follow Premier League soccer, he grew up in the shadow of the Wolves Stadium in the English Premier League. So that's his real team, let's be honest. But
right.
Yes, he knows how to play to the home crowd.
Yep, knows how to suck up when necessary. Whit, as always, appreciate your time and your insight. Continued success with making the cut and all your broadcast work, and hopefully we can talk around the Open.
Looking forward to it, guys. Thanks.
Whit Watson, kind enough to join us once again on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. So, not a popular win.
By the way, we've had all these signature events already, just one left for the rest of the season until the playoff, right?
2, the Memorial, and then I think there's one at the end of June after the U.S. Open.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Travelers. You're right. So we've got two, and then, July with nothing. So I'll be interested to see how many players end up participating much in the month of July.
Mark, I think for the big boys, they're going to play 5 more tournaments before the FedEx Cup. They're going to play the Memorial, the U.S. Open. They're going to play that signature event, the Travelers. They're going to play the Scottish Open, which is right before the Open Championship. And then that's it. And they may take a month off to the FedEx.
I think you're right. Be interested to see, the 3M and the Rocket are back-to-back at the end of July. They get great crowds, but they're not signature events, and most of the big boys don't show up. I doubt they'll show up this year either. But it's a pretty big gap of no signature events. So you wonder how much time all of these guys will take off. Whit Watson joining us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. The Pro Hour awaits.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So you're upset, Puck, because he did an Eagles chant? You're an angry dude, man. You're just angry. I'm telling you. Smile. Go, I don't know. Go get a massage. Have Robert Kraft join you. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Paula was here all morning. Oh. But he was in Philly. He gave a Philly chant. He's from... I know people do, and you're part of the reason why, Empire, and you should understand that. But a pro golfer sucking up to the home crowd, what a jerk he is. Holy cow. Chill out, Puck. That's all. You seem negative. I mean, if he would have done it in Dallas, then that would have been, something. I mean, TV needs another suck up. Wow. Am I a David Portnoy fan? I like David Portnoy. How can you not be impressed by his story? What he accomplished, what he turned Barstool into? It's amazing to me. Absolutely amazing. And I think his I don't give an F attitude and being very un-PC in this PC world is somewhat refreshing. Do I think he's a sports authority? No. I mean, the guy I like from, yeah, he does. His pizza reviews are awesome. What a thing he created with that. That whole one bite thing's amazing. I mean, the money he's given to local restaurants during the pandemic, the money he's made for pizza joints across the country. Holy cow. What he did for Giuseppe and Grandpa's, come on, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, I can cut guys like that some slack when they say some things or do some things that you may not like. It's like, well, oh well.
I mean, who else out there in the media has made that much money for the little guy? Find me someone. Not in the sports media, at least. Maybe there's someone in the other media world that I don't follow, but I don't know of anybody in the sports media that's done that much for small businesses across the country. I don't. Is he a little over the top when he doesn't like someone says something about him? But who of us that has had bad things said about them hasn't at least smiled and gone, yeah, wish I could pull that off. At least I know I have. And he's done it. What's the point? What's the line, David? What's the point of having FU money if you can't say FU once in a while?
There you go.
I mean,
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Pro Hour. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. It's the Pro Hour, right?
It's the Pro Hour.
Right.
I'm going to go in a direction from a pro standpoint because the city that I rooted for is having a rough go of it. Their baseball team sucks, and they were supposed to be good. Their hockey team is a major disappointment. Right. Their one-seeded basketball team choked like hairy dogs in Game 7.
Okay.
The PGA was just in Philadelphia. Now, I liked the fact that the tournament turned out the way it did. I wish we would have had a more compelling Sunday. I'm fine with who won it. I just wish there was a little more to Sunday when the leaderboard looked as if we were going to get a great Sunday. I mean, every day told us, man, this is going to be a great Sunday. Well, it really wasn't. It was the final 9 was boring, unfortunately. Not Aaron Rye's fault. It was everybody else's fault.
I was going to say there's only 2 guys that played it worth a damn, and one guy teed off nearly 4 hours before the first guy.
But some guy was upset in our chat room that he made the Eagles chant. Said another guy's sucking up. I'm fine with that. But I mean, Philadelphia, while the Sixers got bounced, they beat the Celtics. They weren't supposed to. So maybe on the whole, the season wasn't as good as 76er fan wanted, but they beat the Celtics. So they got something they weren't expecting. The Flyers weren't even supposed to make the playoffs. Not only did they make the playoffs, they won a round in the playoffs. The Eagles, one of the best teams in football with one of the best front offices in football. And David, it was a few weeks ago that the Phillies were the disgrace of the National League.
Them and the Mets.
They fired their manager.
Yep.
Things have worked out pretty well for the Phillies since. Don't know what it'll lead to because, let's be honest, someone's still got to get through the Dodgers when this is all said and done.
I mean, if you consider 14-4 since they fired their manager working out, okay, I guess it's worked out.
But, I think a pretty good spring for Philadelphia. The PGA looked good. They had successful PGA, maybe not the Sunday they wanted, but their two spring teams, I think, one beat the Celtics, the other exceeded expectations. And while that was going on, they could get by with the Phillies stinking up the joint. And just when that ended, you know what happened? The Phillies started playing really good baseball.
Well, not only that, the hockey team that overachieved by making the playoffs then beat the Penguins.
Right.
And if you ask their fan base, listen, if you're going to win one round of the playoffs and that's it, who is it you'd like to beat? That'd be the first or second choice.
I agree with you. Rangers might be first, Penguins second. So I'm with you. And I know they lost to the Knicks and they would love to have beaten them, but they did beat Boston. But
by the way, the Phillies 3.5 out of the playoffs. That's just it. 3.5 out with 4.5 months to go.
But I want to talk about a guy that used to coach in Philly. Hell, he used to coach everywhere. David, from this point forward, I might be rooting for Vegas for the rest of the NHL playoffs. Because what the league did to them, now I'm curious what you think, because you and I have talked a lot about the tanking and what should, not a lot, but we've talked a little bit about it. It's been a national story, what you do about tanking, how you fix it. Well, I'll tell you what, if Gary Bettman was running the NBA, he'd have harsher penalties than what they're doing with Adam Silver, because apparently not allowing the press in your locker room and a coach not talking to the media is enough to lose a second-round draft pick. Vegas beats Anaheim. Two guys show up on the podium or out in the press room and say, yeah, we've got 10 minutes or Torch is going to leave us. Now, I know this was a whole, Torch probably told them to do it. In fact, they may have all decided we're going to just circle the wagons here. But the team doesn't allow the Las Vegas Golden Knights do not allow the press in the locker room post-game. Torch does not make himself available for the media post-game after winning. They send two guys to the press room who basically say, yeah, we'll answer like 2 questions and we got to go because he's going to leave us. He told us if we're not on the bus in 10 minutes, he's leaving us. They fine him a bunch of money. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Knew that was coming. David, the NHL took away a second-round draft pick. Yeah. Second-round draft picks usually make the big club. I mean, this is not football.
Right.
But in hockey, a second-round pick is expected within 3 or 4 years to be, maybe 5 years, but he's expected to end up on the big club.
Correct.
And a funny story, when I worked in the minors many years ago for a team in Nashville, we're in the postseason, and we lost game 1 in double overtime. And they had a kid on the other team by the name, I'll never forget his name, David Cooper. Second-round pick playing in the ECHL. Second-round picks weren't supposed to play in the ECHL. And the next day in a face-off, one of our players skated up to him in the face-off circle and says, man, I'm tired. David Cooper said, yeah, man, long one last night. He says, no, when I found out you were a second-round pick in our league, I couldn't sleep all night. One of the best lines I've ever heard. But they took away a second-round pick? If I'm the GM, I'm going through the roof on that one. A coach did this. This wasn't, it wasn't the general manager. They didn't illegally pay a player. They didn't show up for a press event. Could you imagine what Gary Bettman would be doing to teams that are tanking right now, David?
Not only did they find the team and take away the second-round draft pick, they fined the coach $100,000. The coach got hired with 8 games left in the season. He's got a prorated contract. Okay, now, do I think John Tortorella has made $100,000 in the last 6 weeks with the Vegas Golden Knights? Yeah, I do. But, wow, finding a coach directly $100,000. Now, there's 2 parts to this story I'm just going to throw out there. So they're playing in Anaheim. which this just in, is not Los Angeles, no matter what the Angels say. And the reason I say that is because the Golden Knights were flying in and out of Long Beach. Apparently, the Long Beach airport has a curfew for noise ordinances. And apparently, Vegas barely made the flight home after game 4. And I don't believe Vegas was very happy about it. So apparently, this was an issue again. It's why Tortorella said the bus is leaving in 10 minutes. And Mitch Marner joked, he'll leave our ass if we're not on that bus. So ask your questions right now. And they answered like 5-6 minutes worth of questions. And I think they jumped on the bus in uniform. Well, not their jersey, but everything. It took the skates off and jumped on the bus. But here's the other thing that happened. All right. Vegas had a defenseman who hit an Anaheim guy in game 5 early in the game, and he got ejected. So he missed, the rest of the game, and it went overtime, and he was a first-line defenseman. Well, much to the surprise of many, the NHL also suspended him for game 6. And I think Vegas and Torts were bent about it.
And it wouldn't be the first time Torts was bent about something.
Right. But yes, Mark, you are 400% right. All right. If Gary Bettman was running the NBA, they would not have the load management and the tanking problem that they have now, because he was what? David Stern's right-hand guy at the NBA when he got the NHL job.
I mean, there's part of me that applauds Bettman and the NHL for doing this, because here they are, a league that doesn't draw fans. They don't get television viewership. They don't get media coverage. And here's a team who wins a series, who's going to the conference finals, not talking to the media. They need all of the media attention they could get. But the second round pick seemed crazy to me.
That's wow. Wow. You and I both were like, damn, that's a penalty.
Right. The fines that I get, Torts is a prorated. I don't give a damn that he's prorated. You want to find the coach because he's the one responsible for this. No one else is. Don't think for a minute that there's any other human that's responsible for them not talking to the media and getting the hell out of there other than John Tortorella. There's not. Anybody who's followed hockey knows who this guy is. He's persnickety. He likes to mess with the media. He does. He can be a bit of a you-know-what. And
yes,
for that, Miller and Moulton love him.
Love him. Love him.
The second round pick, wow. I mean, this is an old team. They need their draft picks. They need them to work out.
And they don't have a first round pick either. So now their first pick will be in the 3rd round. Yep. The league says that Vegas had been warned about it previously. That's why they came down so hard on them. But listen, going forward, it's this hard to fly home from an Anaheim Ducks game if you're a professional team. You have like 30 minutes to shower, get dressed, get on the bus to take the 11-minute ride to the airport to beat local noise ordinances. Somebody's got to do something.
So that was, look at it's in the grand scheme of things, it's probably a nothing story for this year. Certainly affects Vegas going forward. But you want to get an us against the world mentality as you're getting ready to play the best team in the league. You've certainly incentivized the Las Vegas Golden Knights heading into this series with Colorado. You've given this series more angst than it was going to have without this.
Torts is going to be one of two things. He's either going to be, sure, guys, I'll stay here as long as you want. What do you want to ask me? or Torts is going to be as short can be with the media without him getting fined. He may pull a Marshawn Lynch, Mark. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
No!
This summer, there's only one place to experience the roar of the World Cup at the British Open Pub in Bonita Springs, your World Cup headquarters, where the team is bringing every match live, full sound on every TV across the patio, with daily food and drink specials from the opening match on June 11th through the final on July 19th. Catch the electric atmosphere for every England and USA match and all the matches in between at the British Open Pub, Bonita Springs, at the shops of Pelican Landing, where the World Cup comes alive.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That's awesome. Paula, that is awesome. Did you watch the whole game last night, Paula, or did you go to bed? Yeah, I'm not. I don't do links out of this. I don't get them. You guys get them when you're on Twitch or YouTube. We use a thing so I can see both. I don't get any of the links. I mean, I can copy them and paste them, but I don't. To be brutally honest, I don't have TikTok on my computer, so I don't have this on a mobile, and that's they're just. If you feel like I need to see it, send me a DM on Twitter, X, whatever.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. I just feel the need to point out that the Rays lead the AL East by 3 and by 4 in the loss column. Wow. I mean, next thing you know, some guy named Aaron Rye is going to win the PGA Championship. I mean, what's going on here?
And what they've lost like 4 games now out of their last 22-ish, somewhere in that general range, right?
You nailed it. 18 of 22 they've won.
Okay. And in that, help me if I'm wrong here, they've lost 2 in extra innings, right? They lost this weekend to the Marlins.
Correct.
And giving up a bunch of runs in extras. They gave up a salami to lose in extras before that.
In Toronto, correct.
Yeah, I mean, it's remarkable, David.
Yeah. And they've gained 4 games on the Yankees in the last week and a half. Now, I mean, the Yankees will be fine. And the Yankees, they blew one yesterday against the Mets. One of their starters got hurt. They'll work through it. Fortunately, they have enough pitching. Garrett Cole will be back in maybe this week, but at worst next week. So Yankees will be fine.
Oh, yeah, I'm not worried about the Yankees. I'm just more impressed by what Tampa's doing. And because of those 2 extra inning games, it kind of throws their runs allowed off a little bit, if you know what I mean. Because that was a bunch of, the 10 spot that the Marlins put on them, 5 are in extras. They gave up 4, so, if you just look at their runs against, their numbers, I think, are actually a little better than what the totals say. And the totals are pretty damn good, David.
In fact, Mark, it's better than that. The 7-5 loss to the Jays was 3-3 after 9. And the 10-5 loss to the Marlins was 2-2 after 9. They gave up an 8 spot in the 10th. So, yeah. Well, we said it. They were like 11-10, 21 games into the season. And we said, wow, they're scoring over 5 runs a game if they could ever get some pitching. Well, over the next 24 games, they've gotten some pitching, all right. As good a stretch of pitching as they've had in franchise history. So, good for the Rays.
The Yankees on the road this weekend before they're sandwiched around a bunch of games with Baltimore there. So, outside of the Yankees, David, because they're playing in the American League, they don't play another team with a winning record until mid-June when they go to LA and take on the Dodgers.
Well, also, aren't they 30-15? Honestly, right now, give me the win total that you think will make the playoffs in the American League. Obviously,
86 at the least.
Okay, that's 10 games over 500.
But I think that's 86. Don't you think you're guaranteed a spot in the playoffs in the American League right now?
Yeah, I do. And if that's the case, Mark, you can say to the Rays right now, listen, you play 500 ball the rest of the year, you're going to win either 88 or 89 games. You play 500 ball the rest of the year, you're in the playoffs. Now if it's mid-September and they're still hanging with the Yankees, that's, then we're trying to win the damn division. But, right now we're just stockpiling wins. We're just trying to play October baseball here.
Hey, put it this way. I think they got a better shot of having a better record if they don't win the division playing the 3 seed than, that they have a better record than the 3 seed the way things are going right now.
Oh, Mark, here's what could be the irony. If the Yankees and the Rays turn out to be the only good teams in the American League this year, well, the Rays will be the 4. Let's just say they win the 4-5 series. Who are they going to play? The Yankees. Okay, which will get a lot of people screaming for reseeding. That's all I'm going to say. But, hey, one other thing I want to throw out at you, because, for Free agency's come and gone. The draft has come and gone. And now the schedules are fully released. So, Mark, I mean, there's nothing left to do if you've got a website than to make predictions. And that's it. It's all you got to get clicks for at least 3 months, maybe longer. However, there's a group of guys that we like, the guys at PFN, and they use a computer. So they threw it all in the computer. AFC or NFC? Where do you want me to start?
So let's start with the NFC. Sure.
Bears are the 1 seed. Rams, Cowboys, Falcons. So they have 3 new division winners because Seattle won the West last year. So they have the Rams winning it this year. They have Dallas winning it. Last year it was Philly. They have Atlanta winning it, and it was Carolina last year. Okay. Bears are the only team in the NFC that repeats as division champs.
Okay.
Eagles are the 5. Packers are the 6. Seahawks are the 7. So no Detroit, no San Francisco. Just saying. All right. AFC, Buffalo. Followed by Denver, Baltimore, and the Jags. They have the Jags repeating as South champs. So they have 2 repeats, Denver and Jacksonville. They have the Bengals as the first wild card. They have the Chargers as the second wild card. And they have the Texans, which means no New England, no Kansas City. At the very least.
It's funny, David. I'm looking at the app that I use, did the same thing, the Score app. It has the entire NFC West winning 12 or more games, not named Arizona. That's
just like last year.
Both win 12, and the Rams win 13. But they have the Jets. I focused on the negative, David. This particular prediction model has the Jets winning just 4 games. That has the Jets 3 clear of the Dolphins for 3.
Whoa! 1-16?
1-16.
Well, I believe right now, early lines, the Dolphins are only favored in 1 game this year.
Home against the Jets.
Which could change. So, for those that are wondering why it is those of us are willing to pick the under, which is 4.5 on the Miami Dolphins. Just saying.
Injuries come into play, and that will affect the regular season greatly. But right now, what I have in front of me have the Miami Dolphins going 1-16.
Could they have it?
This has the Jags going 9-8. And I think that's what I predicted. You had them going 10-7 for our quick schedule game.
Right.
And I believe it has Tampa winning 10.
Ooh, I had them winning 9. And you had them winning 8.
Right.
Yeah. I had all 3 teams winning.
Sorry.
I had all 3 teams winning 1 game more than you. So here's my hope. If they go 1-16, can it be like when they went 1-15? Because weren't they like 0-11, 0-13? I mean, it was late in the year that they played Baltimore in overtime, and the announcers went crazy when they scored the touchdown to win.
Go find that audio. It's worth it.
Jeez.
Camarillo scored, called him the wrong first name.
Yep.
Everything about it was great.
Man, it said, I don't care. We're not losers. Call them whatever we want.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Mark, I hope you're right. I would, if you wanted to make that bet, I would be willing to bet on the other team. I think Montreal wins. I just think they're better, but I hope I'm wrong. I'm rooting for your Sabres, Mark. I'm rooting for them. I'm just not picking them.
Same here, Mark. Rooting for them hard. But
by the way, who do you play in goal? You got to play what, a UPL or whatever his name is. You got to play, because Lyon was just terrible.
I got to play the guy who finished game 6.
Yeah.
Tell Lyon, be ready.
Oh, I don't think you have to, David. I don't think you have to tell him. I really don't. I know what you're saying, but I don't think it's necessary.
I will say the first goal was embarrassing. Man, he just whiffed on that. The second goal was a laser. The top corner. I don't know how many stopped that.
Well, and he was screened too.
Right. The third goal, he's got to make that save. That's what you pay goalies for. Not easy, but got to make it. 2-1 shorthanded. Guy comes in on the wing.
So they will not start this series until Thursday, which means Carolina will have nearly a full 2 weeks off.
Right, because didn't they win on a Saturday in Philly?
Correct. I was listening to a little NHL radio. And the only reason that I was is because I listened to the game on Friday when I went and picked my daughter up. Or no, was it Saturday when I went and picked a pizza up? Because the daughter and wife were at the gymnastics banquet. I didn't have to go. because I complained so much last year. And most of the moms basically told my wife to never bring me again. Not really because of my complaining. It's a mom-daughter thing. Like I was one of, I mean, a lot of kids there. Like it's not just my girls' team. It's the whole place that does competitive gymnastics. There were maybe, and I mean maybe 10 dads there. That's pushing it. One of the moms saw me at softball. They had the awards banquet on Saturday, and one of the moms, her daughter's terrific, actually getting recruited. She's the best gymnast at our club. And she said, you got out of going this year, right? You're not coming to this thing again, are you?
That's when you know your reputation precedes you.
No. She said before, why did you even come? She's like, what are you doing here? She's like, and her husband was there. He was like, yeah, I did it once. Never again. Never again. He goes, I'll be in the pool tonight. I'm like, good for you. And we play, his one daughter does gymnastics. Their other daughter plays softball and soccer. She's around my daughter's age. So I know the parents very well. Great. They're like, he coaches. He's at everything. He doesn't do the gymnastics. And not to mention, it ain't cheap. Like, I don't need to, for a bad chicken on a buffet, I'm good.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until we're out of here. One other football note before I turn it over to Mark. A bit of breaking news, more curiosity than I think anything else. So Brett McMurphy of On3 just reported, remember Urban Meyer and the Jags?
Yeah.
So he got fired 5 years ago. And apparently the Jags did we're withholding money from you because you violated your contract. And I guess they're talking about the incident in the Ohio bar. I mean, I don't know what they claimed, but obviously Urban sued. We're talking like $30+ million here. Yeah, the Jags just won.
Wow.
Yeah, they won the arbitration. They don't have to pay them.
So Urban will be doing TV a little longer than he expected. By the way, the other little college football or football coaching note. Did you see what came out of Baton Rouge over the past couple of days?
Oh no.
Oh no, it's not bad.
Oh, okay.
It's shocking. Lane is basically off of social media to focus on football. They basically, LSU told Lane to get off of social media. I'm color me shocked.
Yeah, I'll be curious if it stays that way or will it, can he get back on it for recruiting purposes, to show him and kids he's recruiting and pictures and that sort of deal. But you could argue it's a week late, but good for them.
But he did. I mean, that all came out from an article. That wasn't a social media post knocking Ole Miss. That was an article in Vanity Fair. So, I mean, again, I'm just, of all coaches to not be on social media, Lane wouldn't be the guy I would expect to, and LSU wouldn't be the school to say you can't do it. We are talking about Louisiana and education. It's more of an oxymoron than jumbo shrimp.
Did you see, by the way, that Shaq got his master's over the weekend from LSU?
Yes, the place went nuts.
Fulfilling what he told his mom he would do 34 years ago. So good for him. And yeah, by the way, in cap and gown, Shaq walking with everyone else in cap and gown. Talk about standing out.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
All right, we start in 1642. David, this could be big. The city of Montreal was founded today in 1642.
Uh-oh. I know what you're hinting at.
It's more than a hint. It's more than a nudge. 1804, Napoleon, claimed emperor of France. 1860, the Republican Party nominates Lincoln for president. This one's just near and dear to my place of birth. 1897, Herbert Henry Dow founds Dow Chemical in Midland, Michigan. Midland, nice. Saginaw, not. The Tennessee Valley Act was signed by FDR today in 1933. That's when we started building dams. We were doing drugs in the 70s, and that made Ray Stevens with his only number one hit today in 1974. Ray Stevens with The Streak. Mount St. Helens erupts today in 1980. Today in 85, the Simple Minds, because of the Breakfast Club, go number one with Don't You Forget About Me. 2001, Shrek debuts. The first Ward Gotti fight was today in 2002. It was the fight of the year and the first fight of their legendary trilogy. Two things happened a year ago. The White Sox got God on their side. Pope Leo. And Scheffler won his third major with the PGA at Quail Hollow today in 2025. Speaking of popes, John Paul II, along with Brooks Robinson and Jimmy Flute Superfly Snuka, would have all celebrated birthdays today. Reggie Jackson's 80, George Strait 74, Yari Curry in that great helmet, well, he's 66. Sojonic Noah, Marty McSorley, who protected Gretzky all those years in LA, is 63. It Takes Two. David, you remember that snappy tune. Rob Bass is 59. I know you're a fan. Tina Fey is 56. Singer and surfer Jack Johnson is 41. And Travis Hunter is 23. What did I miss, David?
Takes two, Mark, make things go right. Takes two to make it out of sight. Mount St. Helens. Did you have that?
I did.
Okay, good. All right. I don't have much else.
Mount St. Helens. Did you have that?
Yep.
Uh-huh. That's
Only had two things. That and 14 years ago, Facebook said, let's see if anybody be interested in investing in us. And they raised $16 billion in their little IPO.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
interesting. All right, for the good today, well, I don't have a city, but we go to the hospital where the Stone family was ready for a new addition. not the band, a new addition to their family. Rebecca Stone wanted to have a natural birth. She went to the hospital. They told her that the monitors were not picking up her contractions regularly, so they didn't think she was in labor and sent her home. Well, 2 hours later, she was and gave birth on the kitchen floor. Apparently, 6 minutes after her water broke, she had the baby. Luckily for her, her mom was a retired delivery nurse of 37 years, and she was there, and her husband's a firefighter, so he knew what he was doing. They didn't really want to, have the baby on the kitchen floor, but they did. Everybody's fine. For the bad, we go to Alberta, where the Royal Canadian Mounted Police said on social media that officers responded to a barbecue theft. After a brief investigation, they shared a photo of a red fox and its mouth filled with hot dogs. The culprit was released. And finally, the ugly. We go to the not-so-friendly skies. A flight heading from Melbourne in Australia to the U.S. was diverted to Tahiti after a passenger went all animal. The flight between Melbourne and Dallas was diverted because a passenger went fat blank crazy and bit a flight attendant. Qantas Air said the passenger has been issued with a no-fly ban on its company's planes. And after a brief stop in Tahiti, the flight went on to Dallas. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, May the 18th, here on Miller and Moulton, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, offering great pay, offering benefits, signing bonuses, all information, capecops.com, capecops.com.
No hoop tonight, at least not in the NBA. There is a WNBA game on NBC, SN, and Peacock, Washington and Dallas, for those interested. Hockey tonight, Buffalo, Game 7. Winner advances to the Eastern Conference Final to face Carolina on Thursday. Montreal's already won a Game 7 on the road in Tampa. They'll try to make it 2 in a row. Buffalo just 2-4 at home in the playoffs. Montreal 5-2 on the road. Miller and Moulton rooting hard for Buffalo, both picking and betting Montreal. Baseball on this Monday. Rays are hosting the Orioles. Marlins are off. No, they're not. They're hosting the Braves. What am I talking about?
I don't know.
And, otherwise, Yankees back home hosting Toronto.
Tigers, Guardians, they got to get their act together soon. I mean, this would be the time to do it if you're Detroit, but not much going right in Motown right now. Phillies and Reds, couple of teams both over 500 now. I don't know how much longer the Reds will be.
You know what's good for you and the Tigers?
The American League sucks.
There you go. You're 5.5 back. Got 4.5 months.
No, I know.
I mean, take 2 out of 3 from Cleveland, and you're like, okay, 4.5 back. Let's go. Let's go to work, win some series.
It's amazing, David. There are only 5 teams with a plus run differential in the American League. The Rays are only plus 25. Yankees are plus 68. I mean, big difference between the 2 best teams in the league. The Athletics, first place in their division, minus 13. The Guardians, plus 13. The other 2 are the Rangers and the Mariners. The Rangers are 2 games below 500. The Mariners, 4. I'd still bet on the Mariners to win that division.
You could argue it's the best rivalry in the sport today. I would argue Dodgers-Giants, but Dodgers in San Diego, first place showdown with the Padres.
And you mentioned the Rays and their record and how gaudy it is. The Braves are 32-15.
Right. They're even better.
Right.
Yeah. Uh-huh. They've lost one series.
All year.
Right. Mm-hmm. Cubs in Milwaukee. No, I'm sorry. Cubs home for Milwaukee.
Game and a half between them. They're the two best in that division, but the Cards are hanging on. They're only a game and a half back as well. The Rays are the most surprising team in baseball, no doubt. Cardinals are next. They're the most surprising team in the National League, without a doubt.
So apparently Friday or Saturday in St. Louis, a whole bunch of young people invaded the right field stands.
Right.
And apparently they were amazing, chanting and what have you. Well, the Cardinals manager, Marmol, after the game, sat down at the podium. He said, I don't want to take any questions. I got to say this. Those people in right field, amazing. We need them every game. I want to know who they are. I'll arrange for them to come here. We need them every game. And the first question was, so they made a difference from right field in the dugout? And Ollie went, oh, yeah, totally. They got us totally fired up.
They pulled was it the Oklahoma State fan that made it up to the top of the Section 300 on a dare from his sister and took his shirt off, and all the other fans ended up going up there, and it became a trend in college ball. They did that. They all had their shirts off, waving their shirts in right field. It was a scene.
And I don't know what the attendance was Friday. I know it was over 32,000 on Saturday, and it was 38,000 yesterday. And what have we been saying the first 7 weeks of the year? Cardinals fans were not showing up for their team's games. Well, they signed up for an interleague series against the Royals.
And they didn't go last year. This is a team that, from a percentage of attendance standpoint, has been one of the 5 best all century. And it quit. They quit last year. They quit on the Cardinals. Well, they might be back.
They were for a weekend, and they won 2 of 3. So, like to see the Rays fan base start showing up in numbers like that. That'd be cool.
Once they get to Tampa, they will, David. I'm telling you.
Okay.
People aren't going to St. Pete. It's just not going to happen. Wish it would, but it's not going to happen.
You're right. I mean, you've only got a 30-year track record behind you. I got to start taking the field more.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican